What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty. Join my Discord if you want to chat and share your thoughts, the link is in the description. 11 BT Chapter 286. Is it a big move right from the start? Katakuri, it's not very polite to do it directly as soon as you come up. Cyan flames spread all over his body, one of Marco's wings withstood Katakuri's fist, his face was still a little careless. On the other hand, Katakuri has a serious face. I'm not interested in talking to people who declare war on us. After that, countless white sticky rice appeared on Katakuri's body and floated into the air. After a while, the glutinous rice directly turned into white donuts. In the center of the donut, one fist after another covered with armament hockey appeared. 9-head rice cake. 9 huge fists were displayed in midair. Because of the armament hockey, those fists had a dark luster in the sunlight. Is it directly a big move? Hey, Marco's tone was a little helpless. He originally wanted to chat with Katakuri first, but seeing the other party's actions, it was obvious that he didn't mean to speak. Looks like there's only one game left. If you are a man, you have to use your fists to speak. This is also the rule of most heroes. You can tell me stories or say anything, but you must first let me know whether your fists are hard enough. Thinking of O3 here, Marco no longer had that indifferent expression, his bird eyes narrowed slightly, and his body exuded a dangerous aura. It's really interesting to fight directly. For this kind of scene, the most exciting thing is Shiryu of the Rain. He held a sharp knife and directly started his slaughter show. Swish swish swish. Wherever they passed, the members of the Whitebeard pirates all fell down. There was a deep knife mark on their bodies, and it was obvious that they were completely cold. Shiryu of the Rain has no so-called habit of being merciful to anyone, and kills when he makes a move. This is also the reason why Magellan let him, the guard, grow into the cell when he was in the large submarine prison. Killing prisoners for fun, if such people are not locked up, he will kill all the prisoners on the common floor in a short time. At that time, he will definitely focus on the deepest layer. The prisons in the deepest level are all prisoners who have a great reputation in the sea, and even if they die of old age, they have to report to the police. If he was killed directly, what would happen? Besides, some people are not easy to kill. Clang. Advertisement. Just as Shiryu of the Rain was killing, a burst of petals floated by, and the 2 swords in Pista's hands directly blocked Shiryu of the Rain's sharp blade. I can't let you continue to kill like this. Sure enough, Namikaze Kirito has a villain like you under his command. You are the villain, the B***************** D of the Whitebeard pirates. Shiryu of the Rain smiled sullenly with a cigar in his mouth. The former impelled down warden was actually such a bloodthirsty monster who showed no mercy to the weak. You simply don't have the dignity of a swordsman. Looking at the corpses of his companions lying on the ground around him, Foil Pista's eyes were full of anger. Hearing what he said, Shiryu of the Rain was full of disdain. The dignity of a swordsman. The weak are not qualified to mention dignity, while the strong don't need dignity to cover up at all. Foil Pista shook his head, and the two of them were clearly not speculative. It's useless to say more, let's see the real chapter directly. Clang clang clang. The collision of the 3 sword blades caused an ear-splitting roar, and countless sparks scattered around. Shine. Rush. Seeing the Foil Pista blocking Shiryu of the Rain, Diamond Joes, who could no longer bear the fall of his companion, saw the opportunity and directly turned into a Diamond Man and rushed towards Shiryu of the Rain. If it was hit directly without defense, it probably wouldn't be as simple as a broken bone. But even though he felt the momentum of the collision from behind, Shiryu of the Rain still didn't turn his head, and fought hard with the Foil Pista. Go to hell. You. Huh? Just when Diamond Joes was about to give Shiryu a slap in the face, he suddenly stopped, and his body also had strange movements. Fur. The captain of the 3rd team, Diamond Joes, sneak attack is not a good behavior. When? Diamond Chowzi was sweating on his forehead, and wanted to look back at the person on his back, but his body would not listen to his control at all. Oh, do you still want to struggle? You are indeed the captain? But, don't underestimate people. Doflamingo in a flamingo coat stands on Diamond Joes' back, stretching out a few fingers with both hands, manipulating the doll under him. Parasite string. This is the application of string fruit, a string fruit of common. Under the development of Doflamingo, the attack mode becomes various. Parasite string is to use some transparent threads to directly bind the enemy's body, so that the opponent can act according to his own mind. It's like manipulating a doll. Bang bang bang, advertisement. Under the control of Doflamingo, Diamond Chows keeps sending out to the surrounding companions. Captain Joes. Why did you shoot me? Captain Joes is in control, get away. Too late. There were bursts of meat peeling sounds. Diamond Joes' huge body allowed him to be manipulated by Doflamingo, even if he didn't use the fruit ability, just his physique could make Common's partner drink a pot. Damn it. Get out of the way. Damn it, Doflamingo. The veins on Diamond Jawzi's forehead bulge. He attaches great importance to his companions, but he can only watch his companions fly upside down under his fists. For him, this is simply the greatest punishment. Fur. Don't worry, Captain Joes, let's have fun. 933. Sizzle. Hey, Crocodile B******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* Namikaze sneaks up on me, won't you help? But at this time, he ignored Joe's below, but looked at Lockdar who was smoking a cigar not far away. A wave of fire hit Diamond Chowzi directly, sorry, Ins. Not far away, Ace kept punching and looked at Josie apologetically. Boom. Foofurfur. You can really say it, fire punch. It's okay, Ace, it should be said that you saved me. B************* D Doflamingo, where are you? Foofirofer. Although they share a common leader, their relationship with each other is not much better. Doflamingo grinned darkly. Lockdoll spit out a mouthful of eye circles and said indifferently, I thought you didn't play enough. Manipulative B********************. D. Besides, what does your life have to do with me? While Doflamingo was still playing with Joes, a flash of fire reflected under his sunglasses. There was a burst of laughter in midair, and Doflamingo used string fruit to stand in midair as early as the moment the flame arrived. Bursts of blue smoke rose from Joe's body, and Doflamingo behind him had long since disappeared. Chapter 287. The battle is heating up. Godfire. Shiranui. Not far away, Ace saw Doflamingo in midair, crossed his hands directly, and shot straight away with 2 flaming spears. Diamond Joe's on the ground also started to insert his hands into the ground, lifted a huge clod of soil, and threw it into the air. Tisk. Lockdoll saw this scene. His eyes were fixed. Although he couldn't understand Doflamingo, he also couldn't understand the Whitebeard pirates. Sandstorm. Call. A huge tornado appeared directly, and the incoming fire spears and clods were directly swept away, and the nearby Whitebeard pirates were all swept away. Doflamingo was actually brought into it. Of course, he was not swept away by the tornado, but landed beside K. Lockdoll. Crocodile B**************************** D. You want to kill me too, don't you? Lockdoll glanced sideways at Doflamingo and said indifferently. Who knows? The head of the original 7 warlords of the sea is mine. Kill them. Just when Doflamingo and Lockdoll were at the point of their sabers, a few pirates on the side rushed forward with shouts. Foofurfur. 5 color strings. Doflamingo followed with a flick. Pooh. The sound of flesh feeding sounded, and several pirates were directly crushed to pieces. Interestingly, K. Lockdoll on the side also turned into gravel. With the elemental fruit, he didn't care about the attack without Hokage. He recovered in just a moment, and looked at Doflamingo with a bit more murderous eyes. Where even this time, Alligator B************ D. The two were still exchanging feelings. Fire Fist Ace and Diamond Josie rushed over, seeing their companion died tragically, who could keep calm. Doflamingo and Lockdoll also went straight into the fight. Fire Punch, Sparkling Clash, Super Strike Whiplash. Advertisement, Desert Sword. Tilda. On the other side, Smoothie and Cracker were facing several captains of the Whitebeard pirates. These captains are all well-known big pirates in New World, but facing the 2 of the Desert-Free generals, one-on-one is obviously not enough to watch, and that's why a few people surrounded them. As I said before, the 4 emperors have been fighting each other all year round, and they know each other better. Katakuri, Doflamingo, Locke, Shiryu, and others will be handed over to stronger captains. All they have to do is stop Smoothie and Cracker. There isn't a single decent one. I'm really underestimated. Smoothie looked at the people around him, his brows slightly frowned. Also, as one of the Desert-Free stars, although Katakuri is the strongest among the 3 of them, it means that the 2 are weak. What's more, Smoothie is still a person with a strong desire to win. Faced with the siege of several captains of the Whitebeard pirates, not only did they not care, but they also expressed dissatisfaction. Did Smoothie, the B********************************* D, think of us as weak? Then let you have a taste of Lousy's tricks? Smoothie heard a few people's words, his pretty face was full of gloom, and he directly took out his giant sword from his waist. The body also gradually enlarged. She absorbed the water from a large number of pirates around her, and there were mummies everywhere under her feet. At this time, the water is directly absorbed into the body, and it is close to 5 meters in height, and this reconnection has increased 10 times. Water Sword. With a shout, Smoothie held the sword in both hands, and the huge pink sword light shot straight ahead. Boom. The person in front was directly divided into 2, and the height of more than 10 meters combined with the water absorbed by the body turned into sword energy, which was extraordinary in power. Even the captain of the Whitebeard pirates dare not touch his edge. This caused the captains to dodge, the common pirates behind suffered disaster, Smoothie was emptied directly in front of him, and a deep ditch appeared on the ground. Marco, who was fighting Katakuri fiercely, saw this scene, and couldn't help but tear up. Now these people in the Whitebeard pirates are all babies to them. After Whitebeard's death, there has been very little new blood joining, and these have followed all the way. Every death is a huge loss. Damn it, advertisement. Originally, Marco didn't want to make things big. Who would have thought that Katakuri would never stop dying as soon as he came up? This is not here to negotiate, it is clearly to start the war directly. At this time, a trace of regret also appeared in Marco's heart. You still dare to be distracted while fighting with me, it seems that you are very calm. After a moment of absent-mindedness, Katakuri has come to Marco. Oops. The Nuo Tuan sings. The 9 fists floating in midair directly attacked Marco together. In a duel between the strong, the winner can be decided in a second. Because he was worried about his companions and lost his mind, Marco left a huge loophole. Katakuri, who was powerful in combat, directly launched a violent storm attack, not wanting to give the opponent a chance to breathe. Boom 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 boom. The 9 fists were like machine guns, hitting the bird's body frantically. Even if it can be recovered and regenerated, the impact of this intensive attack is still huge, and Marco's blue body is constantly retreating. Every wound was wrapped in blue flames, and then healed up before being attacked again. This is terrible. Hey, blue sparks filled the sky. Marco just felt that his whole body was going to be shattered. Even if the injury could be cured, the pain still existed, not to mention that the attack was still covering armament Hokage. In other words, what he possessed was the Phoenix Fruit. The characteristic of the Phoenix Fruit is to recover from injuries. Armament Hokage can attack and strengthen the attack, and can also touch the body of the elemental fruit. Different from Sea Stone, if it is Sea Stone, the characteristics of the Phoenix are completely useless, and the ability cannot be activated, so no, good king, the ball will be dead directly. Marco. The surrounding Whitebeard remnants became anxious when they saw Marco's tragedy. Their own strength is slightly weaker, coupled with their anxiety, they all fell into a hard fight. Especially Firefist Ace and Diamond Jazzy. These two faced Doflamingo and Locked Doll, although the latter was defeated by Luffy, that doesn't mean he is weak. In the original book, Summit War, Hawkeye, and Akainu are all confronted positively. If it weren't for the protagonist's aura, it is estimated that Luffy would have directly explained it in Alabasta. After Clock Doll joined Namikaze Kirito, he has already been strengthened by the two-color Haki. Dark Fruit can give others the characteristics of the King of Lee, and it will not be wasted. Before Ace was blindly developing the fruit ability, he didn't pay attention to himself. After Whitebeard's death, he also came to his senses, but the time is still very short. How can Locked Doll improve as fast? Chapter 288. Let's talk. The fierce battle between Katakuri and Marco became more and more fierce, and the powerful moves directly made all the people around retreat. No way, this isn't naval headquarters from Summit War. It's just a small island. What's more, there are so many of them, and they haven't opened up yet. The people on Namikaze Kirito's side will go to war as soon as they meet. Lead to extremely dense population. In order to prevent Marco from recovering, Katakuri kept attacking with big moves. The deafening roar made the nearby pirates dare not approach at all. Once they entered it, they would be seriously injured or even killed. At this time, Marco was full of helplessness, but because his partner was in crisis, he lost his mind. Having fallen into such a situation, now he can only defend passively, and Katakuri's attacks are like raindrops, densely falling on his body. Even with the ability of the Phoenix, the situation cannot be reversed in a short time. Weird rice cake. Dripping rain sticky rice. Mixed with Armament Haki's fist hitting his body, it was extremely painful, and Marco gritted his teeth and carried it hard. Seeing that the other party was still recovering from his injuries, Katakuri's eyes turned cold, and the two huge rice cake arms stretched back, and then he slapped Marco violently. Clap rice cake. Boom. Two huge black hands slapped Marco in the center, like a flying insect. The moment the palms were closed, 190 turbulent airwaves directly lifted the surrounding land into the air. Good job, brother Katakuri, as expected of Katakuri's big brother. Whitebeard remnants, do you still want to fight us now? Seeing that Marco was directly slapped by Katakuri with both hands, and his life and death were uncertain, all the members of the Charlotte family shouted excitedly. The members of the Whitebeard pirates all looked sad and angry. Captain Marco. Damn it, you be ********** D Katakuri. Kill them. Don't be dazed, DD. There was a dazzling sound, and the two rice cakes' arms were cracked, and they were still spreading outwards, as if someone inside was trying to break free. Marco. Sensing the movement of the rice cake's palm, Katakuri certainly knew what was going on, and he didn't think about using this trick to directly get Marco. Advertisement. Marco the Phoenix, in the former 4 Emperor's Regiment, the strength of the Emperor's lieutenant is real. It's stronger than Katakuri and Kaido's Jin. Even though Katakuri caught the flaw that was revealed just now, he also knew that it was not so easy to defeat with the characteristics of the Phoenix. It can be said to be a very shameless ability. The ancient species of Eudemons, the fruit of the Phoenix, as long as the capable person is not given the ability to be sealed by Sea Stone. Then no matter how serious the injury is, it can be recovered, but it consumes a lot of physical strength. If you want to defeat or kill Marco, you must completely exhaust his physical strength. This is a protracted battle. The ear-piercing sound continued, and finally, the two giant rice cake palms were completely pushed away. Marco inside also appeared in the eyes of everyone. I saw him utter a birdsong, and then his two wings slammed hard, and escaped from the palm of the rice cake. Nearly died. Hey. Marco, who was flying in the air, looked at Katakuri on the ground, and said helplessly. Stop lying. Katakuri remained calm, and didn't care what Marco said. Katakuri, why don't we talk about it? Talk? Katakuri shook his head, and several fists appeared again on the donut in midair. I have no intention of negotiating with the enemy. The Nuo Tuan sings. Shush. The fist hit the air. At this time, Marco was different from before. He was already prepared, so how could he not be able to avoid it? The air is his home field. Accompanied by birdsong and waving blue's wings, Marco dodged flexibly. Seeing that Marco was no longer in crisis, Ace, who was fighting with K-Log not far away, was also relieved. However, a crack suddenly appeared on the ground under his feet, and then the Dao, ADDH, knife cut Ace in half. The broken body fell to the ground, without bloodline, and the fracture was covered with raging flames. Where are you looking? Brat. K-Lock Doll put his hand on the ground and said in a deep voice. Fighting with him actually dares to be distracted. Soon, Mara Fruit reshaped Ace's body, with a sunny smile on his face, looking at the enemy not far away. I'm really sorry, I was distracted because I was worried about Marco. Advertisement with a hearty smile and a straightforward personality, a figure immediately appeared in Clock Doll's mind. Straw Hat Luffy. The man who shamed him. By the way, you are everything about the Straw Hat. Shuluo Shooter remembered the relationship between the two. Luffy? Do you know Luffy? Where is he now? Ace was excited when he heard what K-Lock said. After the Summit War, he never saw Luffy again, and he didn't even get any news. Except for Nico Robin, who was with Namikaze Kirito, the other members of Straw Hat Crew seemed to have disappeared, and there was no news from the whole sea. Logically speaking, Luffy's unrestrained character, as long as he is active in the sea, is definitely a master who is often in the news. How could Ace not be excited when he heard K-Lock Doll mentioning Luffy at this time? Compared with Ace's excitement, Clock Doll's complexion was a bit more gloomy. Of course, Ace also heard it. He has murderous intentions towards Luffy, that is a threat, and it must be eliminated here. There is no Haki cover on the flame at all, isn't this a painless attack on Logia's demon fruit power? Facing this flame, K-Lock Doll didn't have the slightest intention to grow. Enemies who haven't fought him don't know that feeling. Call, hardening. Desert Treasure Island. A sand blade appeared directly from Clock Eater's palm, and then slashed towards Ace at a speed invisible to the naked eye. Since you are his big brother, go to hell. Being defeated by a kid who just went to sea and destroying the conspiracy, this made him often ridiculed when he was locked in the lowest prison. Can't resist, will die. Originally, he wanted to avoid directly by means of elementalization, but Ace directly felt the existence of Haki. Any desperate situation can be turned into victory. The more K-Lock Doll thought about his tone, he didn't know what was going on at that time. The Straw Hat Luffy seemed to have a destiny, no matter how hard he fought, he would never die. A burst of flames rushed straight to Clockadar. Even an idiot can hear Clock Doll's murderous tone. Fire punch. Looks like it's not Luffy's friend. Swish. Chapter 289 Red Hair appears swish. The sword light shot by Lock Doll directly drew a straight line on the ground, and the sword light chopped off a few strands of Ace's black hair. Looking at the strands of hair slowly falling to the ground, Ace's back couldn't help but a layer of cold sweat rose up. For normal people, if their hair is cut off, there is no problem, but the ability of Logia fruit is different. The elemental body allows them to be invincible, not to mention the hair, even the clothes will be elemental. But now the hair was chopped off by that attack, what does it mean? In other words, if Ace really couldn't think about resisting this attack just now, if there is no accident, there must be an accident. It will definitely be divided into two halves directly like the ground. Armament Haki is so terrifying. As long as you have Armament Haki, you can get in touch with the entity of the Logia fruit ability user. Although Ace's current Haki is just getting started, it doesn't mean he has no experience. Lock Doll's Haki covering the attack is definitely the result of hard work. How did he know that if Namikaze Kirito wants to bestow abilities on his subordinates, he doesn't need you to practice hard at all? He just needs to find someone who has practiced Armament Haki hard, use the strengthened dark fruit ability to absorb it and bestow it. It is also because of this that K-Lock Doll has a skilled two-color Haki. Otherwise, with the level he was defeated by Luffy who just went to sea, he is not even qualified to be a cadre under Namikaze Kirito. Little devil, it's really good to hide, Lock Doll sneered, he would never let Ace go. Because he hates this face full of, innocent, smiles. Now, it's a little troublesome. Ace looked around, Marco and Katakuri were in a hard fight, and for a while, neither of them could do anything to the other. As for Diamond Jazzy, it was played crazily by Doflamingo. It is not an exaggeration to say that he is playing tricks, Diamond Joes is most proud of his physique besides his fruit ability. But in the face of Doflamingo's endless stream of weird moves, it is simply difficult for him to parry. Even Parasite String can control him, not to mention other moves. The remaining captains are all fighting fiercely with Smoothie, Cracker and others, but the latter two are general star figures. Therefore, the captains of the Whitebeard Pirates inevitably fell into a disadvantage. I can't move my hands, and I don't have time to support, I can only see my partners falling on the cold ground one by one. This time, many cadres under Namikaze Kirito all appeared, and even if they didn't agree with each other, they started fighting directly. This is simply the opposite of Marco's previous plan. If this situation continues, let alone instigating rebellion, it is estimated that they will explain it here. Advertisement, damn it. Even Ace, who has always been optimistic and sunny, fell into a state of anxiety at this time. Desert Vajra Sword. Lock Doll didn't intend to procrastinate any longer, he wanted a quick fix, as for the reason, it was entirely because Doflamingo, who was playing with Josie, gave him a look. So K-Lock Dar wants to quickly resolve the battle here, and wait until the matter is over and before returning to Wanguo, he will teach Doflamingo a lesson first. Swish. Clock Eater's hands turned into 4 sand blades, which also covered Armament Haki. This is much sharper than the previous Desert Sword. Fire Ring. Pillar of Fire. Ace didn't dare to be careless, he stared hard with both feet and jumped into the air, a raging flame ignited on his body and then spewed out. Boom. The Pillar of Fire fell directly on Clock Eater's side, and a group of pirates howled loudly. Swish. Just when Ace was about to fall to the ground, a pitch-black hook suddenly appeared in the flames. It is the golden hook in Lock Doll's hand, only covered with Armament Haki. The hook blade pierced Ace's shoulder directly, and before he could feel the pain, he was passed by the hook. Boom. With a muffled sound, Lock directly pinched Ace's neck with his other hand. At this time, he felt a little fortunate in his heart. If he hadn't joined Namikaze Kirito's command, he probably wouldn't have been able to finish off his opponent so quickly. Ace has no achievements in hockey, but it does not mean that he is weak. On the contrary, he is still very strong. Without the power given to him by Namikaze Kirito, it is estimated that the two will fight until one side is exhausted and unable to maintain elementalization to decide the winner. How could it be as simple as now to capture the enemy? Oops. Ace, 0. Asking for flowers, 0. Alligator B*****************. Advertisement. Seeing that Ace was in crisis, Marco was the first to shout out, intending to go to the rescue, but how could Katakuri throw an iron fist as he wished and let Marco fly upside down? Diamond Chowzi has more than enough heart but not enough strength. Facing Doflamingo, he has no chance of winning. The rest of the captains were stopped by Smoothie and Cracker. Common's pirates want to rescue, but they simply don't have the strength. Big brother of the Straw Hat, use your life to make me happy today. Lock Dar grabbed Ace's neck and activated the ability to absorb water. But, damn it, Ace looked at the man in front of him, wanted to struggle but couldn't do it. The claws directly grabbed his flesh and bones, and the man was lifted in midair, so no strength was needed at all. 0. Suddenly, a chill came to my heart, and before I had time to think about it, Lock Dar directly threw Ace flying, and he also rolled backwards. Red saber light hit directly from a distance, right where K-Lock was standing just now. Namikaze Kirito's subordinates also felt that momentum, and all turned their heads to look. Goodbye, Fire Fist Ace, soon, I'll reunite that Straw Hat with you. The naked eye can see that Ace's body is constantly shrinking. This is because the water in the body is absorbed, and it is about to become a mummy. Not far away, the dust cleared, and the red-haired Shanks was standing there with a group of crew members, and the red-haired Shanks slowly inserted the sword into the scabbard. He was about to get angry now, seeing that he was about to kill Fire Fist Ace, but the red hair appeared and stabbed him horizontally. Obviously, the knife light just now was his masterpiece. Everyone, I'm sorry, please forgive us for coming uninvited. If K-Lock doll is not flashing fast, not to mention dying, at least one arm must be left behind. Who? Swish? Clock doll, who stood firm, had cold eyes. Red hair. Foofurfur. Really, the red-haired guy, in order to save the remnants of Whitebeard, did not hesitate to show up. What a failed guy. The sword light is mixed with hockey, not only the arm color, but also the atmosphere of conquerors. As he spoke, Locke increased his strength. Chapter 290. The world will be destroyed. Doflamingo has a very smart brain. The moment the red-haired Shanks appeared here, he understood that the red-haired would not hesitate to expose his plan to rescue the remnants of the Whitebeard pirates. How could such a person deal with Namikaze Kirito? By appearing like this, isn't it just telling the people on your side that this action was planned by you? Although Namikaze Kirito already knew the purpose of the red-haired Shanks, but the latter did not know. Doing this is equivalent to playing cards between two people, and you directly reveal your cards, even if the opponent has 2 kings and 4 twos. Then how do you play next? Doflamingo, who has always been scheming, is full of disdain for Redhead's behavior. If it is said, Redhead can directly let the Whitebeard pirates perish. That would make him look up a bit, at least it proved that the Redhead is a person who does great things. 793. Now in this scene, Doflamingo has already removed the word Vice Admiral Crisis from his mind. A group of people united together, without the determination to achieve the goal by whatever means, such a person, no matter how powerful they are, would be difficult to be elegant. You don't need to take special precautions yourself, because they are full of flaws. Red hair. Marco looked at the person with a complicated face. Although he was very grateful to Hongfa for saving Ace, he understood that his plan to wait for others to make Hongfa failed. It was originally to test Namikaze Kirito, but not only failed to test, but also exposed the red hair. Yo Marco, sorry we're late. Redhead Shanks was still smiling, not blaming the Whitebeard remnants at all. This made the captains who knew the truth even more guilty. Red-haired Shanks. Are you here to declare war on Gensokyo? Katakuri's face was cold. He is not the kind of person who looks forward and backward. It doesn't matter if you are 4 emperors or not, as long as you are here to declare war, then just see the truth with your fists. Hearing this, the red-haired Shanks was taken aback for a moment, then seemed to understand something, and said, is it called Gensokyo? It's really a dreamy name. Advertisement. The red hair was also stunned by the name Gensokyo at first. But after thinking about it, I realized that this must be the name given to the organization by Namikaze Kirito. After all, that man never thought he was a pirate, let alone a villain. When he first appeared, he said what he was. Traveler. Is it another 4 emperors group? It seems that today will not be lonely, Shiryu Ume said with a grinning grin, licking the bloodline on the blade. Although there were several sword wounds on his body at this time, it did not affect his combat effectiveness. Compared with it, Foil Pista was a little embarrassed. There is a deep wound with bone visible on the chest. The swordsman's duel is not as good as that of the capable person. Sometimes, the battle may last for a long time. The victory or defeat of the real sword may be divided into life and death in just a moment. Shiryu of the Rain, the former warden, has the same strength as Magellan, the warden of Impel Down. How could such strength be so simple, not to mention, with the help of Namikaze Kirito? The one who was the most annoyed belonged to Lockdoll. The duck, cooked in his hand flew away, and he almost caught an arm. No one can bear it. Stay still. G. Lock Dahl. At the moment when Lock Dahl made a slight movement, Beckman, the red-haired deputy captain, stood beside him with a gun. You can clearly feel the hockey winding on the gun body. How could a character like Beckman be unprepared for the elementalization of Logia fruit-capable users? Relax, relax, everyone, I have no intention of fighting you. Looking at the tense atmosphere around him, the red hair raised his hands and spoke like a treasure. Seeing that no one answered his words, he was not embarrassed, and walked straight to Katakuri. Katakuri, we are old acquaintances, how about listening to me? After I finish speaking, you decide whether to fight or stay. Quote. Katakuri was still silent, but such a move was already tacitly acquiescing the meaning of the other party. Advertisement. Katakuri, this sea has been balanced by 3 major forces before. 7 warlords of the sea, 4 emperors, and marine. The reason why this world remains delicate is because of them, or our existence. State of balance. Now, the boss of Gensokyo, Namikaze Kirito, appeared out of nowhere and directly disrupted this balance. More than a few members of 7 warlords of the sea joined him, and even Big Mom was killed. Do you know what I saw after these incidents happened? When asked, the red-haired eyes were full of seriousness, without any hint of joking. Seeing that Katakuri did not cooperate with the question, the redhead didn't care, and continued, I saw the destruction of the world. Fufurfur. Redheads. Indeed, Katakuri is a man who only cares about the safety of his younger siblings. If Namikaze Kirito hadn't appeared before, it is estimated that he might really be persuaded by the red waste. He never believed that there were so-called gods in this world, but in Namikaze Kirito, he really saw a possibility of gods. What he said was definitely not aimless. Finally, Katakuri spoke. As the world destroyed. What does that have to do with us? Now that he has broadened his horizons, how could he be instigated by the redhead's few words? May I ask, isn't such an ability something that only God can achieve? Putting the whole world into war. That's definitely not a good idea. As soon as these words came out, Katakuri and other cadres were fine, but the faces of the Whitebeard pirates and the common pirates in Gensokyo organization changed drastically. He now disdains red hair even more. You know, the identity of the redhead is the 4 emperors, and also the man who stands at the pinnacle of this world. Coupled with his serious expression, anyone can feel his seriousness. Katakuri has long been impressed. Just when Katakuri was about to refuse, Doflamingo walked over with a step of disrespect. We have also had many contacts. I know that you are a man who loves his brothers and sisters. You are also a guardian. How could you not understand what I mean? Red-haired Shanks raised his voice a bit. This world is made up of everything, including us, creatures. Of course, if it is allowed to destroy, then there is no dream, adventure and peace. But after getting to know Namikaze Kirito, especially the new world and the ability to resurrect the dead that the other party said. Of course it matters. Chapter 291 Is it very lively? In order to save the remnants of Whitebeard, he showed up, and now he plans to say something about the balance of the world to instigate the people on his side. What a naive guy, he is the most disgusting person in the face of such a person. So I came to the red hair, with that evil smile on my face. You red hair, what are you talking about the destruction of the world now? Don't start a war. Fufurfur, don't be kidding me. Since the day of the Summit War, there has been no balance in the world. There are also the so-called 3 major forces. Does the world government really need the 7 warlords of the sea to fight against the 4 emperors? You know, there are many monsters in Marine, and Marine is the only overlord on this sea. 7 warlords of the sea to restrict 4 emperors. It is simply impossible. Facing the 4 emperors who rule the sea, only Marine can really contain them, or even destroy them. Whitebeard fell as death, doesn't that prove it? When the name Whitebeard was mentioned, the faces of the remnants of Whitebeard around them were full of dissatisfaction. If it weren't for Marine 03's design, Whitebeard would not have died in the Summit War. Doflamingo, I know you. The red-haired Shanks looked at the man in the flamingo coat in front of him, and said softly, is it because of the things you have encountered since you were a child, that misfortune will be imposed on the whole world? Hearing this, Doflamingo's smile froze directly, and he couldn't understand how the redhead got the news about his childhood. Does this guy have someone in world government? Seeing that Doflamingo shut up, the redhead looked at Katakuri again. Katakuri, believe me, following that man will only bring destruction and collapse to this world. Although your name is Gensokyo, the real Gensokyo will never come to you. When I said this, the red-haired body exuded conqueror's haki, and that temperament made people feel convincing. Of course, it was only for common people. The cadres who have been in the sea for many years will not believe it because of this. What's more, Doflamingo and Katakuri also have conqueror's haki, which only 1 in a million people awakens. Such a person is born with the spirit of a king. Katakuri looked at the serious expression on the red hair, and finally said, give up your thoughts, red hair, none of us here will betray the leader. Why? The redhead was a little puzzled. He didn't understand how long Katakuri had been with Namikaze Kirito, and those notorious villains around him. Everyone will have loyalty, but it will definitely not appear on a few of them. Advertisement. Is it force? Are you worried about Namikaze Kirito's revenge? Don't worry at all, I've already. Red hair, are you trying to say that you have assembled a group of people and are planning to attack the leader? Doflamingo slowed down, with his trademark smile on his face again. Hearing what Doflamingo said, the redhead wasn't surprised. He was not so secretive about finding Kaido and Big Mom before. What's more, now Namikaze Kirito has directly included all the children of Big Mom. So he will definitely know the fact that he is going to gather a group of people to deal with him. After being punctured by Doflamingo, the redhead didn't intend to hide anymore, and said frankly, yes, I already have a detailed plan, so I need you to join. As long as you can join in together, the winning rate will be greatly improved. And, Katakuri, rather than relying on others, isn't it more reliable for you to protect your loved ones by yourself? Protect yourself. Katakuri really wanted to give the redhead two big fights. To put it simply, does he have the ability to resurrect others? Does he have the ability to give others strength and vitality? You know, before Big Mom did not take away the lives of their children. And Namikaze Kirito restores all the older brothers and sisters to their original appearance. This is not difficult for Namikaze Kirito who owns Dark Fruit. In the world of Hokage, isn't that how the fourth generation couple brought them back to life? After becoming a 6 paths class, there is a majestic life energy in the body, and even needs to be extracted from others. Namikaze Kirito can make all his subordinates live forever. This is his unique ability, and it is also because after witnessing that kind of miracle, many children of the Charlotte family are now very loyal to Namikaze Kirito, and they will never betray even without Katakuri. Not to mention these cadres who still want to fight in other worlds with Namikaze Kirito. The redhead just stared at Katakuri, and after a while, he sighed, knowing that his plan had failed. These people have inexplicably unimaginable loyalty to Namikaze Kirito, and it is estimated that no matter what they say, they will not change their minds. In this case, the black cloak behind the red-haired Shanks was windless and automatic, and the momentum belonging to the four emperors was undoubtedly highlighted at this moment. The surrounding common pirates couldn't bear the powerful conquerors one by one, and passed out directly. Advertisement. How could Katakuri on the opposite side allow the opponent to reduce his combat power like this? His eyes were fixed, and likewise, Conqueror's Haki spewed out directly. ZZZ. The two black and red Haki are like two circles, constantly confronting each other. Obviously, Katakuri is at a disadvantage. But don't forget, there is a Doflamingo beside him. Sure enough, seeing Katakuri's 130 loss, Doflamingo's conquerors also spewed out directly. Everyone on Gensokyo's side also looked serious, after all, they don't have the top combat power like red hair. Like bubbles, the three strands of Haki directly cancel each other out. Is it very lively? Red hair, are you willing to show up? Who is it? A group of cadres from red hair pirates also came over immediately. Marco, Diamond Jazzy, and even Ace who was bandaged came over one by one. As for Ace, who is still bandaged not far away, he can't freely control conquerors at this time, and his contact with Haki is too short. Their leader, Namikaze Kirito, is still on Cake Island. Puff. What? Swish. The red-haired hand was also on the hilt of the sword, as if planning to make a move at any time. The red hair directly pulled out his sword, the famous sword Griffin. Just when the red hair was about to order an attack, a voice suddenly sounded. The men and horses on both sides glared at each other, because the battle was about to break out. People on both sides heard the familiar voice and turned their heads to look at the same time. At this moment, the four emperors' regiments joined together. So it seems that we can only start a war. I don't want you to become resistance, I'm sorry Katakuri. Chapter 292 Ace, cherish the chance of rebirth. Namikaze Kirito. How did he come here? You obviously didn't find him nearby. It's troublesome now. A group of people looked at the man sitting on a boulder not far away, black's windbreaker, white's shirt, handsome face and red hair fluttering in the wind. Who else is it not Namikaze Kirito? At this time, he was sitting on the rock with his legs dangling, and under the boulder stood an intellectual beauty, Nico Robin, holding a book. On Namikaze Kirito's shoulders, there are two arms pinching his shoulders. Needless to say, this flower fruit ability is really great. As Nico Robin continues to develop, especially with abilities like the original 2 years later, I expect Namikaze Kirito to enjoy it. He had already used Wonkwon Bilyansaka's ability to come here when the red hair was halfway through. This is why he asked Katakuri and others to come over, but he was not worried about the red hair appearing at all. With the recovery of his abilities, Wonkwon Bilyansaka has been able to transfer a long distance. Namikaze Kirito. Looking at the man sitting on the boulder, the red-haired Shank's eyes flashed with a trace of complexity. He both admires Namikaze Kirito and finds him terrifying. What I admire is the free and easy character and strength, and it is precisely this that I feel terrible. A person with the strongest power and no scruples in character is destined to plunge the whole world into chaos. That power no longer belongs to their dimension. Don't you see that the world government has sent so many strong men, it's still a fall. He even hooked up with 2 marine marshals. What? No more. Redhead. Despair. Namikaze Kirito jumped off the boulder, and the arms on his shoulders turned into flower petals and disappeared. Advertisement. Just like that, he slowly walked towards the direction where the red hair and the others were. The members of the red hair pirates and the whitebeard pirates all tensed up as if they were facing a big enemy. The title of world's strongest is not a joke. Big Mom was killed in just a short while. The 5 top powerhouses are not their opponents. Such a person's deterrent power is too powerful. All the people along the way subconsciously parted ways to make way for Namikaze Kirito. Soon, they came to the opposite of the red-haired Shanks, and the two stood side by side. Long time no see, does the red hair look very energetic? Namikaze Kirito, you are the one. I have heard more and more news about you recently. I am a little curious. What is your purpose? Seems like a casual question, but the eyes of the redhead and Beckman are full of doubts. That's right, they have always wanted to know what the purpose of Namikaze Kirito is. If they want to become the One Piece and look for that treasure, why there is no news? After defeating the Big Mom pirates, they should already have a signpost. But according to reliable sources, Namikaze Kirito completely ignored the so-called road sign. Not only that, but Nico Robin, who can read ancient texts, is now following Namikaze Kirito, but there is no news that he is looking for historical texts. That is to say, Namikaze Kirito has no interest in big secret treasures, blank history, or even ancient weapon. He obviously has the ability to suppress the world, as long as he thinks, he can probably get anything. It is such a person, but he does not show the feeling of being interested in anything. The only thing to say is that you like beautiful women. Pirate Empress Boa Hancock, Nico Robin, and Golden City's female cadre Bar Carla. It was also rumored before that Namikaze was going to marry Smoothie. It seems that this is the only interest that is shown to everyone. But the more this is the case, the more worried the redhead is, which can be seen from Namikaze Kirito's attitude towards celestial dragons. He is definitely not as simple as it appears on the surface, but no one knows whether he is going to overthrow the world government and become the king of the world himself. Hearing the redhead's question, Namikaze Kirito's face flashed a deep meaning, and he asked, "What do you think I want?" "I don't know." The red-haired shook his head and said seriously, "If I knew, I probably wouldn't be standing here, it's because I don't know that I want to find out." Advertisement. Oh tilde so you plan to call a group of people to unite and push my mouth away. Namikaze Kirito teased. Well, you can also say that. The red-haired Shanks scratched his head, showing a nervous look. While the two were talking, many people from Gensokyo had completely surrounded Hongfa and the others. They saw that their bosses were all here, so they had no scruples. Surround yourself first. Ace, since you have been given a chance to be reborn, you must seize it and don't just lose your life casually. Namikaze Kirito looked at Ace and spoke softly. So I broke the pot and showed up with all the people. Unexpectedly, Namikaze Kirito really appeared. But seeing the lives of the Whitebeard pirates in danger, Beckman, who knows the character of his own captain, knows that it cannot be stopped. Nico Robin on the side saw this scene and felt a little anxious. Ace is the big brother of Luffy in the Straw Hats. Everyone in the Straw Hats knows how much Luffy cares about him. Beckman didn't want the red hair to show up before, because Namikaze Kirito didn't show up, and no one knew where he was. He probably also knew about the plan of the red-haired Shanks. Although he didn't agree with it very much, because of the favor of the red-haired, he definitely wanted to help, and so did Marco. Seeing this scene, Ace frowned. He didn't understand what these people were laughing at. Not only that, the people in Gensokyo behind heard their leader laughing, and they also laughed together. There is no hint of threat in the tone, but everyone can feel that he is serious. Now I am on the opposite side of Namikaze Kirito, how can this be? But facing Ace's heroic appearance, Namikaze Kirito let out a burst of laughter. If this is the case, it is better to let the red hair escape. This is the so-called benevolence and righteousness. Now that Namikaze Kirito has appeared in front of us, everyone knows that the redhead will definitely not be Namikaze Kirito's opponent to play. If there is a real fight, I am afraid that the 2-4 Emperor's regiments on my Zhao Nuohao side will be here. They are not well prepared now. If they only rely on red hair, they will definitely not be able to deal with Namikaze Kirito's Fang Big Rom, and the 2 marine marshals are examples. Backquote, this matter is about our Whitebeard pirates and Gensokyo, and has nothing to do with red hair pirates. Ace has bandaged the wound, and immediately stepped forward, at the moment when the war was about to break out. It seems that we can't leave today, what a mistake. The red hair looked at the people in Gensokyo around him, and said self-deprecatingly. Chapter 293, both strong and crazy. After all, I followed Namikaze Kirito for a while, although during this time, Namikaze Kirito did not do anything cruel. But Nico Robin could sense that Namikaze Kirito had an aura that seemed out of this world. I don't know what caused him to ignore, or even ignore life. If such a person is a villain, it will be a disaster for the whole world. Fortunately, with Boa Hancock and Bar Carla, Nico Robin can see the human side of him. Otherwise, even if Namikaze Kirito has the ability to resurrect people, Nico Robin will never commit himself to it. Now seeing his own captain's big brother facing Namikaze Kirito, Nico Robin dripped a little incense from his forehead. She knew that she had no part to speak in this situation, so she could only keep looking at Ace, hoping to remind him not to do stupid things with her eyes. Ace obviously didn't notice Nico Robin. He heard what Namikaze Kirito said. He was a little dazed, but he came to his senses in an instant, and stood in front of Hongfa resolutely. I did this, and it has nothing to do with Hongfa and the others. I was the one who initiated the war. Ace. Seeing Ace standing in front of him and saying what he said, the red-haired Shanks seemed to see the shadow of the former captain on his body, and 003 couldn't help showing a gratified smile. The captain's children seem to have grown up and are about to stand in front of me and solve the crisis for me. However, it is still too early. After all, the red-haired Shanks directly grabbed Ace's arm and pulled hard. Ace went directly behind him. The redhead faced Namikaze Kirito. I didn't expect you to appear, but that's okay. If you can see the gap between us, it would be nice, but it's a pity. It seems that I haven't had enough of the new wine I bought. Death is not terrible for red hair, but it is a pity that he cannot hold a banquet. He had already made a decision. Since Namikaze Kirito appeared here, he might not let him go. Instead of thinking about escaping, he might as well fight with all his strength. By the way, find out the weakness of Namikaze Kirito, find an opportunity, and let your partner bring the news out. This can be regarded as an effort for the order of the world. Although Dad is dead, the spirit of our Whitebeard pirates is still there. This matter was provoked by us, so let us solve it. Red hair, you stay away. With a bird cry, Mal 80K also flew over, although the red hair asked them to help in this battle. Advertisement. But they are the ones who choose to help and repay the favor. If the Whitebeard pirates retreated just because they saw Namikaze Kirito, leaving the red hair pirates behind, it would ruin Whitebeard's reputation. When Whitebeard died, there was not a single wound on that smooth back. In other words, he has never turned his back on the enemy in his life. No matter what kind of crisis you face, you will be injured in the front, and your back will be handed over to your companions. With such a belief, how could Marco lead everyone to leave? The members of the Whitebeard pirates, when they heard that Marco and Ace had made such a decision, each and every one of them also had the courage to look at death in their eyes. From the moment they embarked on the road of pirates, they also had their heads pinned to their waistbands. Since he didn't die in the Summit War, why not fight here? Anyway, the enemy is the strongest man in the world, and it would be an honor to die by his hands. Infected by the momentum of the crowd, the red-haired eyes became sharper. Momentum slowly rose from their bodies. What are you guys doing? Acting. An untimely teasing sound sounded, directly interrupting the crowd's condensed, Lou. Looking at Namikaze Kirito, who was laughing out loud, the red-haired eyes turned cold, and he asked, "What do you mean?" "It's nothing." Namikaze Kirito waved his hand and continued. "I'm really sorry for interrupting your acting, but to be honest, it's too old-fashioned for you to stage a life and death parting scene here, and there are complaints everywhere." Quote. Ace. Namikaze Kirito looked at Ace behind the red hair, and called Mingchen. Hearing the other party call his name, Ace was a little dazed, his mind full of question marks. "I said, even if you want a hero to save the red hair pirates, you have to ask me. There is also Marco and Redhead. Ace is a simple-minded kid, and you actually acted directly, you really treat us as audiences." Everyone who said a few words was a little speechless. Indeed, Namikaze Kirito has the ability to destroy them, and all signs show that Namikaze Kirito is elusive. Advertisement. Maybe he was still joking with you 1 second, and will directly kill you the next second. In front of such a person, it is meaningless to discuss who stays. Because the other party may bury all the people on their side here. Such a person either has absolute confidence in his own strength, or is a complete lunatic. It has been exposed that I and others intend to execute the plan against Namikaze Kirito, so how can the other party have a reason to let me go? However, after careful consideration, I'd better let you go. You, what are you going to do? The redhead felt that no matter how much information he had on this man, he still couldn't figure out what he was thinking. If you die here in order to protect your companions, you can feel at ease after death. He didn't kill everyone immediately, but instead wanted to see what kind of plan he had prepared. The words of Namikaze Kirito made the red hair and the others chill. They knew that they were going to deal with him, and even prepared a plan. A madman with the power to suppress the world. At this moment, Namikaze Kirito continued. "Redhead, to be honest, I'm considering whether to kill you directly, after all, it's not difficult for me." Quote. The redhead didn't speak, but the hand on the hilt of the sword exerted a little force. In the eyes of red-haired Shanks, Namikaze Kirito is clearly both. Redhead Shanks couldn't believe what he heard. Thinking of this link, those people who were desperately planning to do their best just now were all a little desperate. What? Knowing that you can survive, are you a little happy? That's right, you only have one life, so cherish it. Namikaze Kirito said with a smile. Death is not terrible, but if death is meaningless, it will not work. But what if they were all dead? Don't do anything, you didn't prepare a plan for me, I'm very interested. What? Chapter 294 Take Nico Robin to find Nami. Is it really okay? You know, I have prepared a detailed plan, which may make you disappear directly into this sea. The red-haired Shanks said seriously. The common crew members of the Whitebeard pirates all frowned. If it is possible not to die, of course no one wants to die, Namikaze Kirito is planning to let the people on his side go. Why does the redhead still say such things? Isn't this forcing people to cut grass and roots? Only the crew members of the red hair pirates showed a clear look. They have followed their captain for so many years, so of course they understand his character. It didn't surprise them at all to be able to say such words, or it would be strange if Shanks turned away without saying a word, and accepted Namikaze Kirito's proposal. Hearing this, Namikaze Kirito still had a smile on his face. Of course it's no problem, didn't I say it? I'm very interested in your plan. Those old men in the world government, blindly determined, and there are methods that are useless, right? Then let me see what kind of surprises the famous red hair and the old immortals from the world government can bring me. As soon as this remark came out, except for the members of Gensokyo and the crew of the red-haired boat who knew the matter. The members of the Whitebeard pirates once again looked at the redhead in shock. They didn't expect that the redhead would cooperate with the world government in order to deal with Namikaze Kirito. That's world government. Designed the man who framed Papa. You red-haired Shanks, as a pirate, or a top pirate, don't you have no shame? Sensing the gazes from the surroundings, the red-haired wry smile said, you still found out, but there is no way, your existence is really an anomaly, if we only rely on us it seems that there is no way to stop you. Oh Tilda, do you think that adding them together can stop me? Redhead, I have to say, you are the most innocent pirate I have ever seen. You want to maintain the pattern of the whole world, but you want to break this pattern, a combination of contradictions. The redhead was a little shocked when he heard Namikaze Kirito's words. It is not surprising to know that he maintains the world order. After all, during the Summit War, he said bluntly that he even fought Kaido in order to prevent the war. But what the redhead doesn't understand is, how did Namikaze Kirito find out that he is related to Luffy? That's right, Luffy is the redhead's hope, and also the child of destiny that he wants to use to break the world pattern. Possessing the same personality as Kolu D. Roger, coupled with that person's charm and identity, it can be said that the redhead wanted to do this from the moment he met Luffy. Advertisement. It seems that you know more than I thought. The redhead looked at Namikaze Kirito with complicated eyes. Of course, there are very few things I don't know, but redhead, I want to remind you that the world structure and changes you think are just what you think, so no matter what plan you have, it is all about management, use. When will you discover the truth, before you can understand what I want to do? After leaving an inexplicable sentence, Namikaze Kirito turned around directly, without any intention of doing anything. Katakuri saw that his boss had said so, of course they would not have any objections. As a result, a war that was supposed to shock the world was terminated directly under Namikaze Kirito's intentional release. After Namikaze Kirito left with his men, Marco and Ace walked up to the redhead. Marco's face was full of anger at this time, and he didn't look at death for Red Hair and others at all. Redhead, what's going on? Are you really teaming up with world government? Marco, looking at all the people in the Whitebeard pirates glaring at him, the red-haired Shanks sighed, and finally he could only say something helplessly. I'm sorry, Marco, and everyone, but for the sake of this world, I have to do this. Red Hair, this matter is over, and the favor we owe you has been repaid. Next time we meet again, we won't necessarily have a different position, so please take care of yourself. After all, Marco also turned around and left with the Whitebeard pirates. Seeing the back of the Whitebeard pirates leaving, Beckman came to the side of the red hair, and said softly, why don't you explain? Do you think they can listen to it? The red-haired wry smile said, as expected of Namikaze Kirito, even if we let us go, do you want a little revenge? It seems that Marco and the others can't help at this time. It doesn't matter, at the beginning, didn't they not be counted? 0. Ask for flowers. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis. The red-haired nodded in disbelief, and then looked at the endless sea. What he was thinking about now was what the meaning of those two sentences left by Namikaze Kirito when he left. What is common sense, and what is truth? Advertisement. Back on the boat, Namikaze Kirito was lying on the added chair, enjoying Nico Robin's massage. Since Nico Robin misunderstood that night, she directly changed to the little maid. It seems that they want to use this kind of meticulous care to dispel Namikaze Kirito's evil thoughts. Of course, you are my exclusive little maid. The only people who are important to her now are her companions. After getting on the boat, Nico Robin looked at the sea from time to time, as if he had something on his mind. The massage hands would stop from time to time. What's wrong? What are you thinking? Hearing Namikaze Kirito's inquiry, Nico Robin came back to his senses. Namikaze Kirito didn't suspect him, then closed his eyes, as if sensing something, opened his eyes after a while. When looking at Nico Robin, Saping also had a hint of inexplicable meaning. Hearing this, Nico Robin's beautiful eyes were filled with surprise. Sorry, Mr. Kirito, I was just thinking about my companions. Now hearing the other party's initiative, how can we not be surprised? Want to see a companion? One of your companions is nearby, want to see it? Not far away, Smoothie was watching this scene, inadvertently, and she didn't even notice that the jade hand was placed on the hilt of the sword at some point. Of course, Namikaze Kirito knew that the other party had misunderstood him, but he didn't mean to explain it. Being able to enjoy the massage of a flower fruit-capable person every day is not a treat for everyone. Is it really okay, Mr. Kirito? It's just that everyone is practicing, and Nico Robin is too embarrassed to ask Namikaze Kirito to take her to meet her partner. Oh, she is now caught in the entanglement of resurrecting her relatives. When people are entangled and confused, they need important people to unravel. Obviously, all the relatives around Nico Robin were buried under that Buster Call. Chapter 295 Visalia Island. Hearing this, Nico Robin's pretty face was a little red, especially when he thought of what he had seen Namikaze Kirito and Boa Hancock doing before. It made her even more shy. Seeing Nico Robin's shyness, Namikaze Kirito stopped teasing her, stood up, walked in front of Smoothie, and spoke. I'm going out to do some errands, so you guys should go back to Cake Island first. What are you doing? Smoothie's beautiful face was a little cold. Namikaze Kirito took a strange look at Smoothie, wondering why this woman was going crazy, but after all, she was a woman he had close contact with, so he patiently said, I will take Nico Robin to meet her companion. Then take me with you. As soon as these words came out, Smoothie regretted it. What does it mean to bring her together? In what capacity did she say it? A subordinate, or a lover? 410. As for the subordinates, they are definitely not qualified to talk to their leaders like this, but if they are lovers, it seems that the two have not communicated alone except for those two intimate contacts. After the Empress Boa Hancock and Barbara Carla came to Cake Island, there was no room for Smoothie to talk. Namikaze Kirito didn't think too much about it. In his eyes, it's not a bad idea if it's his own woman who wants to go together. Then you can go with me. I don't go. After hearing that Namikaze Kirito agreed, Smoothie's beautiful eyes were full of joy, but in an instant the coldness returned again, and then he turned and left. Namikaze Kirito was left alone standing in the wind, looking at the leaving plump figure with a dazed expression. He seems to have been played by someone. Visalia Island. The full name of the island is Small Sky Island Visalia, which is the place where Nami, the Straw Hat Pirates who lost the original book and his partner, fell. This island is a country that studies meteorology. The whole island is composed of most of the clouds and a small part of the land, even the bed is made of clouds. The inhabitants of the island are all weather scientists. The climate on the island changes very fast, sometimes it is rainy and sometimes it is sunny. It is a good place to study the climate. The difference from Big Sky Island is that this island is in a flying state. As for the direction and speed, it is all determined by the wind. Scientists on the island are very good at meteorological research, and have created unique weather props such as the knot of wind. Advertisement. As a navigator, Nami, this island is simply a place for her to change. She can not only learn about the weather, but also develop more weapons about the use of weather. Although this small sky island is located high above the sky, for Namikaze Kirito who owns Wonkwan Bilyongjaka, it is very easy to bring people up. After greeting Katakuri and others, Namikaze Kirito took Nico Robin into the dark. When I came out, I had already arrived at this dreamy island in the sky. Is this where Nami is? Seeing the surrounding scene, Nico Robin exclaimed. Without him, this place is really beautiful. Like a Genichi of Xanadu. After Namikaze Kirito landed on the island, he directly opened observation haki, and every plant and tree on the island was in his perception. Soon, an old man wearing a long robe and a pointed hat appeared in front of the two of them. He was dressed like a demon. Oh, there are still guests coming to our island. Since that little girl came here, isn't our existence here no longer a secret? This old man is the person respected by other scholars, and is also equivalent to Nami's master, Harita. Welcome both of you. Harita saw the identity of Namikaze Kirito right away. Although it is very secret here, newspapers can be seen every day. The reason why Namikaze Kirito can be recognized at first sight is entirely because of his great reputation now, and his appearance is easy to recognize. Harita said welcome, but she was uneasy in her heart. He didn't know why such a big shot would come to their small island. Harita doesn't care about the title of strongest man, after all he is a scholar and doesn't advocate force. What he cared about was that Namikaze Kirito was made the worst criminal in history by the world government. The man in front of him is an existence that makes the world government bow its head. If he is not happy, will our small island be destroyed? So Harita can only show a welcome look. Namikaze Kirito and Nico Robin, who is good at reading people's hearts, can see at a glance that the old man is holding on. Nico Robin even covered his mouth and chuckled. Advertisement. Mr. Kirito, it looks like you scared the old man tilde. Seeing Nico Robin sniggering there, Namikaze Kirito gave her an angry look. You must know that although he has been made a criminal by the world government, he has never killed innocent people indiscriminately except for killing people who showed hostility towards him. Not to mention he is a good person, but he is definitely not a villain. As for him, he is afraid of being like this when he sees him. And if Nico Robin was really kind enough to remind her, then why didn't she explain it directly to Harita? She obviously found it interesting to see the old man panicking. Although Nico Robin looks like an intellectual woman, in fact, a large part of her heart is full of black belly. Nami, who often watches the news, of course knows Namikaze Kirito very well. Namikaze Kirito. Why is he here too? The two women started for a long time as if no one was there, and it took a long time before Nami noticed the man next to Nico Robin. Before Harita finished speaking, in the distance, the beautiful girl with orange hair ran over directly. She is closer to the sexy 1.1 she was 2 years later. I've been by Mr. Kirito's side. Nico Robin said with a smile. Nami, including the things she likes is also weird. Me too. Nami, don't worry, this is not a dream. After seeing his companion for a long time, Nico Robin also waved happily. Laughing and shouting Nico Robin's name while running. That, respected guest, I am. Robin. It is Nami from Straw Hat Crew, and it has been more than half a year since they were sent here. During this time, Nami's hair has grown very long, and her figure has also undergone tremendous changes. But there is no fear, after all, Namikaze Kirito has saved the Straw Hats several times, whether in Sabayati Archipelago or some at war. I miss you guys so much. Robin, isn't this a dream? Seeing the evil party in front of him just rolled his eyes, Harita was so frightened that the prince trembled. The two beauties who could make the surrounding landscape eclipse, hugged each other directly. Chapter 296 Can the dead really be resurrected? Follow him. Nami was a little dazed, when the Straw Hat Pirates decided to go to the training place separately. In fact, they don't know where each other is. After all, they decided to go through 2 years of practice. Of course, you have to concentrate on learning new knowledge and new power, but you probably understand that everyone is placed in the place that suits you best. So Robin is placed next to Namikaze Kirito. Is it the most suitable? For a moment, Nami looked at Namikaze Kirito a little strangely. As if seeing Nami's thoughts, Nico Robin's face flushed slightly, and he quickly explained, "This is my own decision. For me, in this sea, except by your side, there is no safe place." Hearing this, Nami also thought of Nico Robin's life experience, with a bit of empathy in her beautiful eyes. "Sorry, Robin, it has nothing to do with you, there's no need to do this." Nico Robin smiled softly. "That's right, you just came here, let me show you around." Nami was afraid that Robin would think of his deceased family members, so he said hastily. "Little girl, this island is." Harada originally wanted to say that the island is full of some of their research, and it would be troublesome if outsiders accidentally broke it. But I suddenly remembered that the man in front of me was a world-renowned evil party, and he swallowed back what he was about to say. "Go around, old man, is there any special food on this island? Take me to taste it." Seeing Namikaze Kirito being so polite, Harada was also relieved. Thinking of the fact that the world government has always been very good at discrediting people, it is no wonder that Namikaze Kirito is as terrifying as he is. But he still didn't dare to take it lightly. Anyway, he just took Namikaze Kirito to eat something, it couldn't be easier. "Please come with me." Namikaze Kirito smiled at Nico Robin and Nami, and then left with Harada. Advertisement. After Namikaze Kirito left, the two women breathed a sigh of relief. With Namikaze Kirito by their side, the pressure was a bit high and they couldn't say a lot. "Come on, Robin, I'll take you to relax." Nami had a sunny smile on her pretty face. Okay. Knowing that Nami was worried about her being unhappy, Nico Robin accepted Nami's kindness, and the two went directly to the depths of the island arm in arm. On this island, there are various studies on the weather, and even the daily necessities are very novel. Robin really forgot about his troubles, and walked happily with Nami. Nami is a picture of the host, introducing the buildings and features here to Robin everywhere. For more than half a year of life, Nami has long been integrated into this place. Soon, the two came to a beautiful building. This is the hot spring equipment specially improved by Nami. Of course, it uses the research of scholars. It is clearly inside the building, but there is a scene of falling snowflakes, and the hot springs are constantly emitting steam. Soaking in the hot springs here is simply enjoyable. On weekdays, this hot spring is only used by Nami herself, after all, she built it. The two women directly took off their extra clothes, showing their snow-white and tender jade bodies, and slowly entered the hot spring minister. Ah tilde. Nami let out a sound of enjoyment as soon as he entered the hot spring. Rather than saying that she is practicing, it is better to say that she is here to enjoy. Several scholars on the island made her play with applause, and she lived a comfortable life every day, especially compared to Sanji who was far away on the Simon Island. Because it was Namikaze Kirito who sent Sanji to S******** Island, now Sanji almost has the heart to kill Namikaze Kirito. He likes beautiful women, so he came to an island full of monsters, and the ending can be imagined. Unlike Nami's carefree character, Robin is sitting in the hot spring pool, enjoying the tranquility of this moment. "Robin, he didn't bully you?" Nami asked softly. Hearing this, Nico Robin originally wanted to say no to reassure Nami, but she suddenly remembered that day when she peeked at what Namikaze Kirito and Boa Hancock were doing in the palace. The pretty face became more and more rosy, but in Nami's opinion, it was just because the hot spring water was hotter. Advertisement. Seeing that Nico Robin has been silent, Nami's eyebrows lightly raised. "Sure enough, I bullied you. Robin, you stay with me. Let's practice together, don't follow him away." Hearing what Nami said, Nico Robin knew she had misunderstood, but this kind of thing can't be explained. Not to mention bullying, what Namikaze Kirito said on the night of the banquet, isn't it a kind of bullying? Namikaze Kirito is not interested in ancient weapons or history, but is interested in her. Robin. Nico Robin was lost in thought and didn't respond. Nami quickly leaned forward, stretching out her jade hand and shaking it in front of her eyes. Nico Robin woke up and said quickly, "I'm fine, Mr. Kirito is very good to me, Nami, don't worry." "How can you not worry?" Nami pouted. "He is now the most vicious criminal in history. You also know that it must be a method used by the world government to discredit him. Anyway, as long as you don't get bullied, it's fine, but Robin, I see you're always worried, what's bothering you?" Seeing Nico Robin's hesitant to speak but hesitant appearance, Nami knew that he had guessed right. Sure enough, his partner had something on his mind. "We are companions. Of course you have to speak out if you have troubles. I'll help you solve them." Nami patted his chest lightly with his hands, causing waves to shake directly. "Thank you, Nami tilde," Nico Robin said with a little gratitude. As expected, he could still feel the warmth by his companion's side. "I do have something on my mind. I don't know how to express it. Nami, you have to help me keep it a secret." Of course. Nami approached Nico Robin and said softly, "We are sisters. If outsiders can see this scene at this time, it is estimated that nosebleeds will spurt out. Two beauties with top-notch looks and devil figures stick together, it is simply a feast for the eyes. What if, say, someone could bring your loved ones back to life, what would you do?" Resurrection. Hearing this news, Nami's eyes widened. How could such a fantasy-like thing come true? However, upon hearing this question for the first time, Nami's adoptive mother, Searmal, appeared in Nami's mind. Nami never forgot the figure that stood in front of him when he faced the Arlong pirates. Is it really possible to bring the dead back to life? Chapter 297 Nami, do me a favor. Facing Nami's question, Nico Robin didn't answer, and bit her lower lip tightly with her white teeth. Seeing her face, Nami also knew that the other party had acquiesced. Is it him? Nico Robin knew that the he in Nami's mouth was Namikaze Kirito, so he nodded lightly to show that the other party guessed correctly. Hiss. Nami gasped. The unimaginable thing of resurrecting the dead is actually true. If it were put on someone else, Nami would think that Nico Robin was deceived. But it wouldn't be surprising if Namikaze Kirito had this ability. Isn't everything this man has done since he appeared in everyone's field of vision until now unbelievable? Kill the celestial dragons, fight the admiral, hit the Holy Land, kill the 2 marine marshals, kill the 4 emperors. What everyone thought was impossible, Namikaze Kirito has done it. Not only that, but also has a group of evil party to follow. Especially people like Doflamingo, Shiryu of the Rain, and K. Dar, even the world government has not recruited them. But easily followed Namikaze Kirito. Bringing back the dead, Nami murmured softly. Who has no regrets in their hearts? Nami's regret is her adoptive mother Belmel. If Belmel is there, she can see the liberated Orange Town. And my 2 daughters who are now grown up. Robin, is this what bothers you? Ellipsis. Nico Robin nodded. Unlike Nami who wanted the resurrection of Belmel, what she wanted was the resurrection of the entire Ohara. It can be said that she is greedy, but who can guarantee reason when facing such a thing? Nami completely submerged herself in the hot spring, spitting out bubbles continuously, and when she heard this kind of thing, her mind was also confused. Don't talk about consoling Nico Robin, she can't wait to ask Namikaze Kirito to help. After an unknown amount of time, the 2 women looked at each other again, and they seemed to see something in each other's eyes. What did you decide to do, Tilda? Nami asked aloud. I don't know. Nico Robin shook his head and continued. I once said that I can help him find ancient weapons and historical texts. Advertisement. Hearing this, Nami's pretty face was full of astonishment. She knew Nico Robin's principles, how could she hand over ancient weapon to someone like Namikaze Kirito? But when he thinks about Namikaze Kirito's power that can destroy the world by himself, it becomes clear immediately. There is no need for a so-called ancient weapon at all. Nico Robin was able to be paid with historical texts and ancient weapons, which shows the importance of this matter in her heart. Nami absolutely empathizes with the decisions made by Nico Robin. Didn't even she think about what price to pay for Namikaze Kirito to resurrect her loved ones? Then, did he agree? Nami asked excitedly. If Namikaze Kirito agrees to this matter, it means that as long as it is a transaction, the relatives will definitely be resurrected. Unfortunately, facing Nami's fiery gaze, Nico Robin shook his head again with a complicated expression. Can't even ancient weapon impress him. Nami hugged his little head with both hands, and fell into confusion. Even ancient weapon is not rare, what precious things can he come up with? He doesn't need ancient weapon at all, so it can't impress him, what he needs. When he said this, Nico Robin had a trace of resentment on his pretty face. Nami didn't know what happened, and looked at Nico Robin with puzzled eyes. She looked at Nami quietly, and then said a few words with her mouth. What? The temperature of the hot spring didn't make Nami feel hot, but what Nico Robin said made her turn red from face to body, like a boiled shrimp. He. Nami was a little ashamed and stuttered. She never dreamed that Namikaze Kirito wanted beautiful women. Also yes, those reports on Namikaze Kirito. Those behaviors made it impossible to guess what his purpose was, but the only hobby was also seen, and that was some gossip news. Empress Boa Hancock, Golden City Kadri Bar Carla, and the engaged smoothie. All kinds of information show that Namikaze Kirito likes beautiful women. Thinking of this, Nami looked at Nico Robin strangely. Robin, you won't. Don't think about it, I haven't agreed yet. Advertisement. Hey. Ellipsis quote. Seeing Nico Robin's resentful eyes, Nami scratched his head and smiled silly. But then, her brain started spinning again. Namikaze Kirito likes beautiful women, so can she also. Bah. What are you thinking? I felt ashamed of my thoughts, and subconsciously looked at Robin, afraid that the other party would feel my embarrassment. Fortunately, Nico Robin seemed lost in thought and didn't notice her. After sorting out his emotions, Nami said seriously, Robin, do you want to give yourself and achieve your wish? In the face of Nami's inquiry, Nico Robin did not respond, but did not deny it either. Seeing the other party's default attitude, Nami went straight to her answer. Robin, you want. At first, Nami wanted to persuade Robin to think about it, but just as he was about to speak, he stopped. Put yourself in your shoes and think about it, if it were you, what would be the answer? Needless to say, Belmel directly dedicated his life for their 2 daughters. Now the opportunity to revive Belmel is in sight. If possible, she would probably make the same choice as Robin. Nami, I need you to do me a favor. What? That's it. Shuan, Li Lejiao, Nico Robin whispered in Nami's ear, and Nami's face was also shocked with a bit of shyness. After the 2 girls finished soaking, they came out of the hot spring and continued to admire the plants and trees on the island. After hanging out all day, Nico Robin's tense and heavy mood was really relieved. When returning to Namikaze Kirito, please stay here for one night. Namikaze Kirito has no intention of refusing. With Wonkwan Hirazaka, it is a matter of a moment to go back to Cake Island. It is not necessary to stay here for one night, and there is no need to travel. Nami also, kindly, prepared a resting room for Namikaze Kirito. It's just that after dinner, Namikaze Kirito didn't see Nico Robin. It was a little strange. He just thought that the other party was reminiscing with Nami. Back in his room, Namikaze Kirito also took off his windbreaker, and lifted the quilt casually. Why are you here? Chapter 298. Want to leave? Late. Namikaze Kirito was stunned. He lifted the quilt and saw Nico Robin. At this time, Nico Robin's dress was a bit cool, with white skin like jade, matching purple underwear. It looks quiet and mature. The long dark hair was scattered on the pillow like a waterfall, and there were 2 red clouds hanging on that glamorous and charming face. Back in the afternoon, Nico Robin asked Nami to help out by arranging a room for Namikaze Kirito and letting her in first. After all, what you plan to do next still requires a certain amount of psychological preparation. Originally, Nami would not do this, but it was a request from his companion, not to mention, the matter of resurrecting the dead really made Nami's mind fall into a state of confusion. I didn't think too much, and directly helped Nico Robin to sneak in successfully. The point of Nico Robin's maturity is that she knows what she wants, so after making a decision, she is extraordinarily bold and directly takes off the black dress she usually wears and puts it in the closet. She herself hid under the quilt because of shyness, and she didn't expect this moment to come so soon. Namikaze Kirito swallowed subconsciously when he saw Nicole 257 Robin's jade body, but he reacted immediately. He seemed to be a little lax recently, and there was no one in the room noticing. Even if there is no danger, you can't let yourself go like this. Nico Robin is still shy, and she has already thought about countless words in her mind when facing Namikaze Kirito. But at this critical moment, he couldn't say a word, and could only stare blankly at the other party. It should be said that she has experienced so much darkness since she was a child, and her mind is far beyond the maturity of her peers. But this kind of thing is also the first time for her. The Straw Hats gave her a feeling of bondage and companionship, but that is not the relationship between a man and a woman in love. She thought that this kind of thing would never happen to herself who was surrounded by darkness, but unexpectedly, because of a hope, she resolutely lay here. Seeing that Namikaze Kirito was also silent, Nakoro became even more shy. How could anyone stare like that? Advertisement. You still not come up. What? Namikaze Kirito is really a black thread. Up. Where? What the hell is this woman doing? Call. Nico Robin took a deep breath, and then said with some firmness in her beautiful eyes, I agree to your request, but I hope you can also fulfill our agreement. This time, Namikaze Kirito understood, and at the same time he was a bit dumbfounded. On the day of the banquet, Nicole Luo Ying completely misunderstood what she meant. He obviously just wanted her to follow him. How did it become like this? Nico Robin's sense of shyness has faded now, but seeing that Namikaze Kirito has not acted for a long time, he thinks that the other party is deliberately teasing him. There was a trace of frost on her pretty face. When are you going to wait? Or is this what you're interested in? I said you. Namikaze Kirito sat directly on the card and looked at the woman lying in front of him with a smile on his face. Do you really think that this kind of transaction will allow me to help? Are you going to tear up the agreement? Nico Robin was a little anxious. She struggled for a long time before mustering up the courage to do this kind of thing, but she didn't expect to lose the wife and lose the army, in the end. I said, did you have any agreement with me? What I meant was that you chose to follow me. Who knew you would be so? After finishing speaking, Namikaze Kirito looked at me with weird eyes with Nico Robin. Hearing this, Nico Robin wished he could find a crack in the ground and get in. After a long time, did I completely misunderstand? I finally made a decision, but in the end I made such a big oolong a deg. You, me, Mr. Kirito, I. Nico Robin was already a little incoherent, and wanted to get up from the bed in a panic, and then went to get his clothes. Hurry up and leave this place of right and wrong. As soon as he got up, he was hugged by Namikaze Kirito. Advertisement. Let me go. Nico Robin writhed and struggled, all he wanted to do was escape. Didn't I say you have already made up your mind? Why are you ashamed now? Namikaze Kirito wanted to tease this black-bellied beauty, so he used his arms slightly to prevent her from breaking free. How do I know what you mean? I was wrong about this matter. Please, Mr. Kirito, let me go. Nico Robin, who has always been mature and stable, also had a pleading tone at this time. You know, she is also a bold girl on weekdays, but she never thought about this kind of thing. That is her stepmother, Belle Mel. For Nico Robin's behavior, Nami feels the atmosphere again, and at the same time has a little expectation. You. Nico Robin looked at Namikaze Kirito incredulously. She understood the meaning of the other party. This is to carry out the mistake to the end. Is it really possible to resurrect the dead? Robin, I don't know if your decision is right. If I knew it earlier, I should have asked first. Why make it so embarrassing? Nami murmured faintly. Even though Nico Robin made the decision himself, Nami was still a little uneasy and a little curious. Well, ellipsis 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 quote. Then, that was my misunderstanding. I apologize to you. Why not go out now? Nico Robin lowered his head and said in a low voice. Then she continued to stick her ear to the wall. Even though she was shy, she planned to eavesdrop. After all, she still had a problem in her heart. I was too much. Didn't you come here by yourself? How can you blame me for being too much? Namikaze Kirito ignored Nico Robin's refusal and started action. Not long after, Nico Robin slowly closed her beautiful eyes, but her slender eyelashes were still trembling slightly, showing her trembling heart. In the next room, Nami is leaning against the wall in a weird posture, listening quietly. She doesn't have the convenient fruit ability of Nico Robin. It's late. I don't want you to leave. Namikaze Kirito raised the corner of his mouth, showing a smirk. I've decided now. The content of the agreement has changed, and I don't need you to follow me anymore, or let you change the way it seems good to follow me. Obviously, apologies are useless now. Namikaze Kirito stood up and moved forward, their eyes met. You, don't go too far. Nico Robin felt the movement on his delicate body, and quickly stopped it. Chapter 299 Another use of flower fruit. The next morning, Namikaze Kirito got up early and came out to have breakfast refreshed. Nico Robin did not come out of the room because of the injury last night. And Nami came to the table with a black eye completely covered. Namikaze Kirito showed a meaningful smile. When he was intimate with Nico Robin, he heard the abnormal noise in the next room. He also used observation haki to detect it. Of course, he knew that the little girl Nami was eavesdropping. But Namikaze Kirito didn't expose the other party. She is a girl anyway so what about eavesdropping? On the contrary, Nami, when facing Namikaze Kirito's gaze, frequently dodges, with a hint of panic and distress on that pretty face from time to time. Mr. Kirito, I hope you don't blame us for our poor hospitality. Harita said in panic while feeding Namikaze Kirito. He was afraid that the man in front of him would suddenly go mad, although after yesterday's friendship, he felt that Namikaze Kirito was not what the world government said, a tyrannical character who took pleasure in killing people. But it's okay to be cautious. There is nothing on this island that can stand against Namikaze Kirito. Even if they look for marine, it probably won't work. Instead, it will anger Namikaze Kirito, which is not worth the candle. It's okay, thank you for your hospitality. As he spoke, Namikaze Kirito directly took out many collection-level treasures from all nations from the space of Wonkwon Bilyangjaka, and gave them to Harita. After some refusals, Harita succeeded in accepting it. What? Is there something on my face? Nami kept looking at him sideways. Namikaze Kirito couldn't help jokingly said. Ah, Nami came back to her senses, her pretty face turned red, and she explained in a panic. It's nothing, I just didn't sleep well, and I was in a daze. Oh, then I don't know why you didn't sleep well. Namikaze Kirito asked meaningfully. Nonsense. Isn't it because of you? Nami was a crazy complainer in her heart. If she hadn't heard Nico Robin's constant yelling last night, she wouldn't have been awake all the time. At this moment, she completely forgot that she was lying on the wall and eavesdropping. But this kind of words, just complain in your heart, Nami dare not use this attitude towards Namikaze Kirito. She is timid herself, and she is still facing this kind of murderer. How dare she be too reckless? Advertisement. Trying hard to pull out a far-fetched smile, Nami said, because I have learned a lot recently. I may have insomnia at night. I learn a lot of knowledge. But I haven't taught you anything new recently. Harita asked very inappropriately. Shut up, old man. Nami was careful when dealing with Namikaze Kirito, but she didn't have that tenderness when dealing with Harita. Seeing that he was going to expose his own lies, he quickly clenched his fists and threatened the other party. That's what it is. Seeing Nami's small fist raised, Harita could only murmur in a lower and lower voice. After breakfast, Namikaze Kirito returned to his room. At this time, Nico Robin had already put on his clothes, and when he saw Namikaze Kirito coming in, his pretty face was still flushed. But deliberately made a look of indifference, and said softly, when will our agreement start? Namikaze Kirito knew that Nico Robin was talking about resurrecting her mother. But seeing Nico Robin pretending to be calm, people can't help but feel a little teasing. What agreement? What do you mean? Seeing Namikaze Kirito pretending to be stupid, Nico Robin couldn't bear the anger in his heart, and walked quickly to Namikaze Kirito, looking straight at him and scolded. Have you forgotten? Didn't you agree yesterday to give myself to you and then help me? Then did you give it? Namikaze Kirito shrugged his shoulders, making an indifferent look. You rascal. Because of despair, Nico Robin's beautiful eyes became moist, and the large movement just now made her feel the pain of tearing again, but obviously, the spiritual pain now. Deeper. Namikaze Kirito saw that Nico Robin frowned, and knew that she was in pain. Seeing that the game was getting bigger, he quickly hugged Nico Robin in his arms. I know, I just teased you, how could I know that you are so careless? Who needs you to tease me? Nico Robin resisted forcefully in Namikaze Kirito's disapproval. Advertisement. Let's wait until we get back to Cake Island. We can help you by that time. It just so happens that Tezzolo has worked hard enough these days, so he should be rewarded, right? Nico Robin didn't struggle anymore this time, letting the other party just hug him like that. When it comes to her current feelings for Namikaze Kirito, love is definitely out of the question. There may be a little bit of goodwill, after all, she gave herself to the other party. Not to mention hate, the choice is all her own. Namikaze Kirito didn't force her. Although there was a sneak peek before when Namikaze Kirito and Boa Hancock were intimate, how much the former liked those jade feet. What are you talking about? Nico Robin directly covered her ears, and she felt that her worldview had been subverted. Just as Namikaze Kirito was laughing and letting Nico Robin beat his chest, the door was suddenly opened and Nami fell to the ground. 0. That, when I haven't been here, you continue to perish. Seeing Nico Robin's face of serious thinking, Namikaze Kirito knew that she was not thinking in the right place, and then murmured softly. It turned out that Nami had been eavesdropping from the very beginning. Do you have this ability yourself? But what I didn't expect was that the door was not closed at all. When Nami heard the absurd conversation between the two, because of panic, when she pushed the door opened directly, and she also fell to the ground. Is it because she dislikes her lack of combat power? But Namikaze Kirito can suppress the world by himself, not to mention there are so many top subordinates. Is the fruit ability developed for that kind of thing? You need to develop your fruit ability more. I didn't expect that when I came to my place, I would use fruits. At the beginning, Nico Robin was still listening carefully, but the more he listened, the more he felt something was wrong. What kind of avatar or something, and a few more pairs of jade feet, so that you can. Nico Robin, who grew up in the dark, understands that there is a price to pay for what he wants. Compared with the people who can revive the entire island of Ohara, the price they paid is really not much. Nico Robin raised her head in Namikaze Kirito's arms, with a hint of doubt in her beautiful eyes. She didn't know what Namikaze Kirito meant. Chapter 300 Give You a Hope. Nami. Nico Robin looked at his companion with shame and anger. Hey. Nami smirked, then ran out quickly, followed by Nico Robin, and the two women fought together instantly. Seeing this scene, Namikaze Kirito also had a soft smile on his lips. I stayed on this small sky island for 3 days, and I was supposed to leave in one night, but there was no way. Nico Robin had to rehabilitate. Anyway, nothing happened, just stayed here for 3 days, and when Nico Robin recovered, the group decided to leave. These 3 days may have been a kind of relaxation for Namikaze Kirito, but it was a kind of torment for Nico Robin. Namikaze Kirito kept talking to Nico Robin, asking her to agree to go back and develop the fruit ability. If it's just for strength, that's fine. The 957 problem is that Namikaze Kirito is obviously for himself. This is unbearable. Nico Robin can only use those bright beautiful eyes to look at the other party resentfully. Of course, for Namikaze Kirito, this kind of gaze is not painful at all. Robin. Just when the two were about to leave, Nami walked over with a backpack on his back. Nami, what's the matter? Nico Robin asked suspiciously, looking at the other person's outfit. It was obvious that he was going out. I want to go to Cake Island with you guys, Mr. Kirito wouldn't mind. Nami looked at Namikaze Kirito with a playful smile. The latter nodded, and said indifferently, it doesn't matter, you are free to go wherever you want. Although Cake Island is now my site, it is also open to the outside world. Great. Nami raised her small fist, her pretty face full of excitement. Is it really okay? Nico Robin looked at Nami worriedly. She knew what Nami's purpose was, just to see Namikaze Kirito's unbelievable ability. If the dead are really revived, I guess Nami will be very happy too. But because of this, Nicole Luashi was a little worried. Advertisement. You know, Nico Robin has already understood Namikaze Kirito's hobby. This man seems to have no interest in anything in the world, but he does have a soft spot for beautiful women. If Nami went to the island with him and saw the resurrection of the dead, wouldn't he propose a deal? At that time, how will I deal with myself? Seemingly seeing Nico Robin's worries, Nami stepped forward and said a few words in his ear, which made her dispel her worries. Okay, let's go. Seeing that the two women had already negotiated, Namikaze Kirito stopped talking nonsense, stretched out and waved in the air casually, and a dark scene appeared in front of the eyes of the three of them. Then Namikaze Kirito walked in first, followed by Nico Robin, and only Nami, after carefully looking at this magical ability, took a deep breath and followed in. When the three of them reappeared, they had already arrived at the palace on Cake Island. Boa Hancock, who had been waiting for a long time, saw Namikaze Kirito appear, and flew over directly. Honey. Namikaze Kirito also stretched out his hands, hugging the beloved in front of him directly, sniffing the fragrance of the other. You're finally back. I miss you so much. Boa Hancock kept rubbing against Namikaze Kirito's chest with a pretty face. I miss you too, Namikaze Kirito said softly. After a while, Boa Hancock got out of Namikaze Kirito's arms, seeing Nico Robin's unnatural expression, out of a woman's sixth sense, she knew what happened. However, she did not show jealousy or dissatisfaction. The relationship between Nico Robin and her is considered good, and she has long understood the purpose of the former, but now seeing the result, she doesn't feel much about it. Instead, those beautiful eyes looked back and forth on Nami's body. When he was in Daughter Island before, Boa Hancock had come into contact with people from the Straw Hats. Although he didn't know the name of the other party, he was familiar with him. It's just very strange why the other party appeared here. Nami was a little disturbed by Boa Hancock's piercing eyes, and stood beside Nico Robin. Master Empress, she is my companion, Nami, she wants to visit Cake Island for a while, please give me your advice. Nico Robin introduced with a smile. Advertisement. Nami looked at Boa Hancock in front of her. Even though she was a woman, it was the second time she met, and she was still amazed at the suffocating beauty of the other person and the aura of a king on her body. My Lord Empress. Boa Hancock didn't speak, just nodded to say hello. It's not because she was unreasonably jealous, but except for Namikaze Kirito, she didn't care whether the other party was male or female. Of course Nico Robin understood Boa Hancock's character, and he took Nami directly to leave. Namikaze Kirito sat on the highest chair in the palace, enjoying Boa Hancock's massage generously. Before that, I am going to give you a hope that allows you 0.5 to see the power that does not belong to this world. After joining the other party's command, it seems that every major event is earth-shattering. How could he not be excited? Yes, Tezzolo, I said before that I asked you to follow me. As long as you are faithful, I will fulfill your wish, and now it should be fulfilled. Kirito-sama, thank you. Thank you very much. Doesn't this mean that his white moonlight, Stella, can be resurrected? Speaking of this, Namikaze Kirito looked down at Tezzolo. Robin, get all the cadres here, I have something to say. Hearing this, Tezzolo trembled slightly with excitement. He knew what Namikaze Kirito meant. Being drunk every day is just escaping, not letting myself miss Stella. Tezzolo, Dessert Trio, Doflamingo, Lockdoll and Shiryu Amami, along with Nico Robin and Nami. All the cadres looked at Namikaze Kirito with fiery eyes, because they knew that as long as Namikaze Kirito asked them to gather, it must be something important to announce. Not long after, many cadres rushed back. Tezzolo directly knelt on the ground. Stella was the white moonlight he would never forget, even if he had 20% of the world's wealth before, so what? Namikaze Kirito didn't mean to betray Nami, so Nico Robin didn't let Nami go. After hearing Namikaze Kirito's order, Nico Robin responded and left with Nami. Everyone, now I'm giving Redhead a chance to complete his plan, that is to say, the day when we reach our final goal is not far away. Chapter 301 Rinne Tensai Technique. When I saw Namikaze Kirito revive Mr. Tanaka before, don't mention how much he longed for Stella to appear again. That frown and smile will never be forgotten by him. So when following Namikaze Kirito, Tezzolo dared not have the slightest disagreement. In the end, I gradually got to know Namikaze Kirito, and after seeing its power, I managed the Golden City more peacefully. Today, he finally got his long-cherished wish. The man in front of him is really going to resurrect Stella. I really thank you, I will follow you all my life. Tezzolo was too excited, not only incoherent, but even shed tears. But this time, no one laughed at him. Dessert 3 stars joined later. In addition to hearing from Namikaze Kirito that he wanted to take them into a new world, I also heard from Doflamingo that Namikaze Kirito can resurrect the dead. Now it's time to really see it. The dead are brought back to life. This kind of thing has never been experienced before. Now it will be shown in front of your eyes. Who doesn't have some regrets about 3? Nico Robin and Nami stared straight at Namikaze Kirito with beautiful eyes. The two of them also have unforgettable regrets. If Namikaze Kirito really did it, it would be worth everything. Thank you, needless to say, this is what you deserve. After saying that, Namikaze Kirito stood up and closed his eyes. When it opened again, gold's light directly shocked everyone. Eyes of gold, ripples of sun circles. Namikaze Kirito finally opened the Rinnegan. What kind of eyes are these? Furfur. God's eyes. Furfur. Ha 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 ha. Doflamingo saw the pair of Rinnegan. The whole body trembled unconsciously. This is the excitement of ultimate. He never believed in the so-called gods in this world, but when he saw Namikaze Kirito's eyes now, he felt for the first time that there really are gods in the world. That is the man in front of him, who is also the leader of everyone. What beautiful eyes. This is the man who was a concubine. Boa Hancock's beautiful eyes were deeply fascinated, and she fell into obsession again. Advertisement. I feel a different power. Even though he was as calm as Katakuri, his eyes widened. Strange to say, he really felt power from Namikaze Kirito that didn't belong to this world. Is this Mr. Kirito's real face? Nami looked at Namikaze Kirito with a complicated face. From the first time he met this man, Nami had a strange premonition that this man did not belong to this world. Seeing those eyes that were not human-like now confirmed her guess even more. It's going to be resurrected. Is it really going to be resurrected? Nico Robin looked at Namikaze Kirito expectantly. She knew that Namikaze Kirito was going to revive the object of Tezzolo's love. So the next one to be resurrected, is it his turn? Is this man really going to perform miracles? Smoothie murmured. K-Lock, Shiryu of the Rain, and Cracker and others also looked at Namikaze Kirito with hot eyes. Looking forward to what happens next. In the eyes of everyone, Namikaze Kirito slowly soared into the air, and the pair of gold Rinnegans in his eyes became brighter and brighter. If you want to revive a person, you can only use Rinne Tensai technique. But this number also has a disadvantage, that is, it is impossible to resurrect a person for no reason, but this is in the world of pirates. Without Stella's body, how could it be possible to resurrect a person out of thin air? If you want to do it, there is only one way, and that is to borrow the power of the world. Only the power of the world can break the order and make the impossible possible, but that will definitely attract the attention of the world order. Or rather, Namikaze Kirito did just that. After all, the world order of the pirate world is completely different from that of the previous Hokage world, it is too stable. I have only observed it a few times, but I have no intention of showing up at all. If this continues, I don't know what kind of changes will happen. Simply resurrect people who shouldn't appear in this world again. If you do this, maybe the world order can't help but appear in advance. At this time, in the eyes of Namikaze Kirito, the world has become an illusion. He is drawing the power of the world he has obtained to revive Stella quickly. In his eyes, the power of the world suddenly became chaotic. It can be said that the world order is intervening, but how could Namikaze Kirito allow the other party to intervene successfully? Advertisement. Heretic. Rinne Tensai Technique. A blinding white light shone from Namikaze Kirito's body. Facing this scene, even though their eyes were stinging and weeping, everyone watched intently, they didn't want to miss a single minute. After the white light illuminated the entire room, it slowly receded. In front of Namikaze Kirito, a blonde beauty slowly appeared. In order to take care of Tezzolo's emotions, Namikaze Kirito even wove a short clothes with the light of white and put it on Stella's body. Finally, the white light dissipated, and Stella looked blankly at everything around her. Where is this? Am I not dead, Stella? When Stella was still at a loss, Tezzolo couldn't bear it any longer, and rushed over directly, hugging the beloved woman in front of him. Great. 933, you finally came back to me. Tezzolo wept loudly. Tezzolo, how are you here? Stella reached out and caressed Tezzolo's cheek with doubts in her tone. I'll explain it to you later. After saying this, Tezzolo knelt down in front of Namikaze Kirito again. Thank you. Chief. Thank you for bringing me and Stella back together. Facing Tezzolo's attitude, Namikaze Kirito nodded in satisfaction. A person can still think about showing loyalty in this situation, it can be seen that Tezzolo has indeed been subdued. Take Stella and leave, tell her what happened, this dress is going to disappear, if you don't want anyone to see, you better hurry. Hearing this, Tezzolo blushed, immediately turned around and hugged Stella, and flew away. Everyone in the room was panting heavily, their eyes red. A miracle was truly unfolded before their eyes. Being able to resurrect the dead is not a miracle, what else could it be? Could it be that the leader of the family is a god from another world? Click. Just then, a crack appeared on Namikaze Kirito's throne. Namikaze Kirito turned his head to look at the throne, and after a while, the corners of his mouth suddenly raised. Chapter 302. The Emergence of World Order. If I didn't guess wrong, this move must be the order of this world warning myself. This throne is in everyone's hearts, so there is competition for Namikaze Kirito's position. But after the revival of Stella, cracks appeared on the throne, isn't this just a warning? Are you finally willing to show up? Namikaze Kirito murmured softly, looking at the ceiling. The rest of the people in the audience were still immersed in the power of resurrecting the dead, completely unaware of the strangeness here. Mom, I can bring you back to life. Nico Robin looked at the figure of Namikaze Kirito, two crystal-clear teardrops flowed from his beautiful eyes. People who have seen the dead rise again with their own eyes, so what is there not to believe? Fantasies and facts in front of us are two concepts. Seeing Stella's resurrection with his own eyes, Nico Robin's heart is filled with desire. Robin. Nami looked at his companion with a complicated expression. She also saw a miracle with her own eyes, and it was impossible to say that she was not moved. But if, as Robin said, Namikaze Kirito is not interested in anything but beautiful women, would he have to pay the price of devotion? If you do that, how will you face your companions? After all, this is the equivalent of competing with Nico Robin for men. No matter how much Nami hoped that Belle could be revived, he couldn't make up his mind. As if feeling the entanglement of his companions, Nico Robin looked at Nami with moist eyes at this time, and there was no blame in his eyes, but a hint of understanding. Seeing this look, Nami's mood became more complicated. She knew that Nico Robin meant that she could understand what she was going to do. But the more empathetic he is, the more entangled Nami becomes. Namikaze Kirito has been standing quietly, without making a sound, he is sensing the power of the world at this time. Since the throne was shattered just now, not only did he not restrain himself in the slightest, but he also plundered the history of the world contained in the space. I just want to see how long this world order can last. Sure enough, when Namikaze Kirito swallowed the power of the world like a whale sucking water, the power of the originally peaceful world suddenly trembled violently. Boom. The originally clear sky was suddenly filled with thunder. Advertisement. In a blink of an eye, it rained heavily on Cake Island. The strange thing is that except for this small island, the surrounding sky is still so clear. It seems that the sky is, God, punishing, here. Everyone in the room also felt a little abnormal, their hearts suddenly felt empty, and a feeling of palpitation penetrated deep into the bone marrow. Especially for people like Katakuri and Doflamingo who are both powerful and psychic, this situation is definitely not accidental. It seems that something dangerous is about to happen. But in terms of danger, everyone looked directly at their leader in front of the throne. At this moment, Namikaze Kirito murmured softly. Angry. What an impatient guy, I just borrowed a little bit of your strength, why bother? Although he said so on his mouth, he couldn't hide the hotness in his eyes. I have been in One Piece world for so long, and I have done many things to change the original plot, but the order of this world is very tolerable. Namikaze Kirito felt a little unbearable. Now that it's finally revealed, how can I not be excited? Namikaze Kirito. Rinnegan looked carefully at the front of the hall. The power of the world there is rapidly gathering. Not long after, an illusory figure appeared there, but the surrounding Katakush and others didn't find any abnormality at all. The figure slowly walked towards Namikaze Kirito. After a while, he came to him. The one who stole the power of the world, holy. A voice that could not be identified as male or female appeared directly in Namikaze Kirito's mind. If it is a common people, I am afraid that it will be collapsed by this weird scene, but Namikaze Kirito is different, he has already been in contact with the world order of the Hokage world. Not only that, but also the mysterious man, who also shocked Namikaze Kirito quite a bit. A race. Why don't you try to show up with your real body? Namikaze Kirito had an evil smile on his lips. He threatened the world. The world order obviously didn't expect to get such an answer, and the phantom figure trembled. In the end, it just took a deep look at Namikaze Kirito, and then disappeared again. Advertisement. This time, the throne in the Straight Hall collapsed directly. This scene also made Katakuri and the others' eyes widen. They just heard what Namikaze Kirito said. Obviously there was no one in front of him, even with observation haki, he didn't notice anything. Katakurina's observation haki, which could predict the future, lost its function in an instant. The people present were all smart people. Although they didn't know what happened, it didn't prevent them from guessing. Chief, just now. Even a person like Katakuri who can keep calm in the face of anything, can't calm down at this time. Before, after a little revelation from Namikaze Kirito, they all knew that there were other worlds. And if you want to go to another world, you must completely control this world. It doesn't mean to become a world government, but to become the god of this world. Seeing Namikaze Kirito's nod, Katakuri and others gasped, only Nico, Robin and Nami were kept in the dark. The rest of the people were all shocked. So, has the will of this world come down just now? No wonder they felt a crisis that went deep into their bones. But when faced with such a conceptual thing as the world, the leader of his own family can not only discover it, but also have a dialogue with it. That throne shattered is the perfect example. It's clear that we didn't agree, so the table is overturned. Good luck, Mom. For a moment, everyone looked at Namikaze Kirito with even more reverence. It seems that it is because of my means that the world order rebounded. That's just right. Namikaze Kirito's eyes flashed a hint of success. Since the rules of the world do not allow the resurrection of the dead, then he has to do this, and he is not allowed to steal the power of the world. Then he must steal it. Thinking of this, Namikaze Kirito looked directly at Nico Robin. Robin, get ready, I'll resurrect your mother soon. Really? Hearing this, Nico Robin no longer had the time to exchange eyes with Nami, but shouted excitedly. Seeing Stella's resurrection in front of her eyes, no one was more anxious than Nico Robin at this moment. Now that I heard that Namikaze Kirito is going to resurrect his mother, I can't help it. Boa Hancock looked at the excited Robin, and a gleam of relief flashed in her beautiful eyes. Chapter 303. Resurrection of Albia. Treating Nico Robin, Boa Hancock also hoped that she would be happy. After all, he was caught on the Holy Land when he was a child, and Boa Hancock has a kind of empathy for Nico Robin. Really? Namikaze Kirito's tone was firm. Thank you so much. Nico Robin couldn't bear it anymore. No matter how mature she was still a child facing her mother. Being able to revive her mother simply made her completely unable to control her emotions. Thinking back, when Stella was resurrected, she didn't have any clothes. If Namikaze Kirito hadn't helped, Stella would have been seen by everyone. Nico Robin ran out in a hurry, and after a short while, trotted back to the minister of the hall. There was a hint of fragrance on her forehead, and because of running back and forth, her proud chest also rose and fell. Holding some clothes in his hand, it was obvious that he had gone to his room and brought the clothes over, so as to avoid an embarrassing situation. Namikaze Kirito watched Nico Robin in action, and Gold's Rinnegan flickered again. Heretic, Rinne Tensai technique. This time it was much more difficult to mobilize the power of the world 663 again. It was obvious that the world order was disturbing. But Namikaze Kirito didn't care too much. How could such a good thing happen if you wanted to interfere without revealing your true body? The power of God in the body is constantly impacting the power of the world. Not long after, the gushing power of the world poured directly into Namikaze Kirito's body, and the world order couldn't stop it at all. White light once again filled the room. The gathering of a large amount of vitality caused tender green plants to grow on the ground in the room. Finally, when the white light faded, a white-haired woman gradually appeared in front of Namikaze Kirito. Nico Robin stepped forward quickly, and before the white light disappeared, he directly put the clothes on the opponent's body. Nicole Albia, this is Nico Robin's mother, with long white hair, blue pupils, mature and intellectual temperament. It can be said that Nico Robin is her copy. Looking at the mother and daughter in front of him, Namikaze Kirito also had to sigh, they look so much alike. Where is this? People from the world government. Albia just woke up, still a little dazed, she only remembered Adeb, the picture before her death. Advertisement. Obviously, he had already been shot several times and fell into the darkness. But after opening his eyes, he came here, without any pain in his body, and a woman who looked very similar to himself appeared in front of him. Mom. Nico Robin couldn't control his emotions anymore, and threw himself into Albia's arms. This sudden change directly caused Albia to fall into a daze. A pair of jade hands also caressed Nico Robin's back subconsciously, allowing him to hug him. Robin, are you Robin? After Nico Robin calmed down, Albia murmured softly. Nico Robin nodded his head heavily, his pretty face covered with tears. Is it really Robin? How did you get so old? Where is this? What's going on? Albia was completely unfamiliar with everything around her, but she subconsciously believed that Nico Robin was her child. You can't go wrong with the feeling of being connected by blood. Under Albia's shocked gaze, Nico Robin roughly narrated what happened afterwards. It's just that some news have been concealed. After hearing that Ohara was completely in ruins, Albia's beautiful eyes were full of sadness. Finally, when Namikaze Kirito brought her back to life, Albia subconsciously looked at the smiling man in front of him. Resurrection. Someone in the world has this ability. She has no doubts about the resurrection. After all, she has really come back to life completely. Unexpectedly, after closing her eyes like this, many years have passed, and that cute little girl in her family has grown into an excellent woman who is not inferior to her in the slightest. But after so many years, a person should have suffered a lot, right? This is inevitable. Even if Albia doesn't know what happened to Nico Robin's childhood, his hometown of Ohara has been completely destroyed. Under such circumstances, how did a young girl escape? How did she live for so many years? Come to think of it, it's definitely not easy. Thinking of this, Albia reached out and caressed Nico Robin's pretty face. Her beautiful eyes were full of pity. I'm sorry, Robin, it's Mom's fault for making you suffer for so many years. Advertisement. Yeah, Nico Robin shook his head vigorously, biting his lower lip tightly with his white teeth, not wanting to cry again. After the mother and daughter chatted with each other for a while, Albia stood up and bowed to Namikaze Kirito. Thank you, Mr. Kirito, we will never forget this kindness. Now please allow me to leave for a while, I want to know more about this kid Robin. Of course, Namikaze Kirito nodded. Robin, take your mother with you. I haven't seen you for so many years. You should have a lot to say. Thank you, Mr. Kirito. Watching Albia and Nico Robin thank him, Namikaze Kirito had a strange feeling. It was as if there were two Nico Robins standing in front of me. It seems that the clone ability of flower fruit has not been practiced yet. After the two left, Namikaze Kirito shook his mind and put the strange thought behind him. What he has to consider now is when the world rank plans to make a move. The second time of stealing the power of the world, one can clearly feel that the world order has become restless, and even wants to destroy it directly from the air. But Namikaze Kirito, who has the blessing of another world, is not something that he can easily destroy. If you want to fight against it, you can only descend with your real body. Seeing that they could not interfere with each other, the world order slowly dissipated. Just before leaving, I watched Namikaze Kirito for a long time. Namikaze Kirito knows that this time, the world order must not be able to bear it anymore, and it is estimated that it will come out soon. I just don't know what form he will use to do it. Holy place. The five elders were looking at each other seriously in the meeting room. Master something is wrong. That's right, how could he just tell us to fight Namikaze Kirito with all our strengths? It's not normal. Master Im's order is unquestionable, just execute it directly. But this order is completely different from the one assigned by Mr. Im before. And he doesn't seem to remember the previous order. Do you suspect that someone is pretending to be an adult? Chapter 304 Forced Change of Thought. Five elders felt very strange. 2 days ago, Master Im had ordered to wait and see about Namikaze Kirito. Unless it is a last resort, you can't confront it head on, observe first, and then act. This is also the consistent style of the world government. But I didn't expect that the five of them were just called by Lord Im, who directly gave the order to kill Namikaze Kirito at all costs. No matter how you think about it, it is wrong. It completely overturned what he said before. What's more, Marine is recruiting troops from all over the world, and if they are not ready yet, if they act rashly, all plans will be disrupted. They knew it was unreasonable, but when the five of them faced Im, they didn't dare to raise the slightest opinion. After all, on the surface, they are the most powerful people in the world, but in fact, they are just Yimu's servants. That person can make them reach the highest position, and of course he can pull them down at will. Once in the conference room, the discussion can begin. Indeed, Lord Im is a bit abnormal this time, but if it is fake. No one knows where Lord Im is, how could it be faked? So what exactly are we going to do? Do we start to act, or do we not act? Since Mr. Im gave the order, no matter what, we must complete this matter. But, we can take our time, so that we can both test Namikaze Kirito and fulfill Mr. Im's order. My Lord Yim has said that we will spare no effort to attack with all our strength. If it is found that we did not do so, you should know what will happen. Hey, then let Marine prepare first. By the way, inform Hongfa to advance his plan. We can't just let us do it. These people should also contribute. New World, Wano-kuni. Both Quinn and Jin looked at their captain in shock. At this time, Kaido was waving the mace in his hand, and he was drinking wine in big gulps, his eyes full of fighting spirit. Just now, Kaido issued an order to the two to prepare all the troops of Wano-kuni and prepare to attack Wonguo at any time. You know, Namikaze Kirito is in full swing now, although Quinn and Jin also have confidence in their boss. But the shadow of the Tree of Life, Namikaze Kirito can become the strongest in the world, not because of praise, but because of real fight. World Government and Big Mom Pirates both suffered a big loss after provoking Namikaze Kirito, who even took the life of his own captain. Some subordinates have said before that the red hair pirates seem to have contacted Namikaze Kirito as well. Advertisement. I don't know exactly what happened, but since that day, the red hair pirates disappeared into the sea, and no one knows what they did. Originally, Kaido was still preparing to plan a world war. Everything is proceeding step by step. Who knows, Namikaze Kirito will be shot so suddenly. Boss Kaido, are you really going to do this? Our troops are not ready yet. Boom. Hearing Quinn's words, Kaido smashed the mace directly on the ground, and the surrounding ground shook. Lousy is just dealing with a brat. Do you need to prepare? Prepare for what? No need. This is the captain's order, you just carry it out. Quinn and Jin looked at each other, and each could see the doubt in the other's eyes. This is so abnormal. Although Kaido does not listen to persuasion on weekdays, it has not reached this level. If he can't think about it and wants to fight someone, Kaido simply won't allow his pirates to prepare, and he will fly over by himself. It was also because of this that Quinn and Jin had a lot of headaches. Jack, one of the three disasters, has the same personality as Kaido, with a whole head of iron baby. Kaido suddenly said that he was going to take the pirates to fight, and the target was Namikaze Kirito, who was in full swing, which was strange no matter how he thought about it. In fact, let alone the two of them, even Kaido himself is very strange. The thought of fighting Namikaze Kirito suddenly appeared in his mind just now. Not only that, the thought was still so intense. Even though they haven't met each other, Kaido just wants to hang out with Namikaze Kirito. This is obviously wrong, and Kaido doesn't know where his thoughts come from, but he is a person who doesn't think about it when he can't figure it out. Since you want to decide the outcome so much, then just do it directly. After all, Namikaze Kirito is active in the sea, and the so-called name of 4 emperors has long existed in name only. Now everyone knows that New World has the strongest man in the world, who still remembers the power of 4 emperors. That being the case, I saw the real chapter under my hands. Thinking of this, Kaido threw the hip flask out of his hand and roared to the sky. 0. Ask for flowers. Not far away, Kaido's daughter, Yamato, is staring at it intently. Advertisement. She heard just now that her father is going to fight to the death with that man who was in the limelight in the sea. This is a good opportunity. Yamato rolled his eyes and came up with a brilliant idea. Let alone Kaido and the world government, even in a secret room, the Revolutionary Army dragon was in a daze. Various cadres of the Revolutionary Army sat on the surrounding seats. They were just talking about a kingdom rescue plan. As a result, before they finished speaking, their leader suddenly slapped the table, and then said that they must deal with Namikaze Kirito first. Oh, how else can Namikaze Kirito be a disaster in this world? Some time ago, Ryuko said that he would ally with Namikaze Kirito. Now he suddenly said that he wanted to confront the other party in turn, which directly caused all the cadres to fall into a daze. Bello Betty, the commander of the Eastern Army of the Revolutionary Army, looked at the dragon in disbelief. She witnessed Namikaze Kirito's contact with the dragon. Long himself said that if one day he wants to risk his life to test the world government, he is willing. How can a person who is willing to sacrifice his life for a great cause say such things? No, not right. Long suddenly covered his head. Just for a moment, Namikaze Kirito was indeed infinitely vilified in his heart. He also had a terrifying killing intent towards Namikaze Kirito. At this moment, he had already noticed that something was wrong. To say that Namikaze Kirito has really done something outrageous, it is understandable for him to change his mind, but some time ago he clearly agreed to form an alliance, let alone after getting in touch with Namikaze Kirito. Dragon has doubts about this world. It was this trace of doubt that made him wake up at the critical moment just now. Someone is manipulating my memory. As soon as these words were said, everyone in the house was full of vigilance. If the leader of the family can be silently manipulated into memory, it means that there are enemies around. But observation Hokage has covered this small island. Not to mention human figures, because of the barren surroundings, not even a single creature died. Chapter 305. Enemy with the world. Everyone's observation Hokage can sense everything on the island, and so can dragons. After realizing that there was no one around, Long's face became even more serious. If it is artificial, then it is a simple matter, as long as the person who activates the ability is caught, it will be fine. But now he didn't even understand the matter at all, and the killing intent towards Namikaze Kirito still remained in his heart. This is scary. Can the black hand behind the scenes manipulate himself to decide to attack a person without even showing his face? Who on earth has such ability? Long looked out the window and murmured softly. The surrounding cadres also showed serious expressions. All of a sudden, all the big and small forces around the world, as long as they are the leaders, have developed a huge hostility towards Namikaze Kirito, the kind that is simply endless. The shadows in the corners of the 037 world are gradually gathering together. If Namikaze Kirito knew these things, he would definitely be able to find out that this is the world order starting to attack him. This time the world order is still so vigilant, and did not show its real body to target Namikaze Kirito, but instead used the power of the world to incite people all over the world. You know, the mysterious person once said that as long as Namikaze Kirito crosses into any world, that world will gradually awaken. All the characters that appear in the fantasy in Blue Star will become flesh and blood. Therefore, the world order can only subtly influence people's hearts, but cannot be directly manipulated. A month passed. During this time, the headquarters of Gensokyo, which is Cake Island, was heavy. The reason for this is entirely because the recent news is simply full of maliciousness towards Namikaze Kirito. What kind of cruel methods, the world criminals, even made up a bunch of deeds to discredit Namikaze Kirito. It can be said that it simply pushed Namikaze Kirito into an enemy of the world. Those forces that had made good friends with Gensokyo before also turned their backs at this moment. Not only did they not continue to make good friends, but they all had plans to become enemies. This also made all the cadres fall into vigilance. The rain is about to come and the wind is all over the building. Advertisement. This is clearly the prelude to a big event. Inside the palace of Fantasy Township, several cadres gathered here again, and of course, Stella and Albia also rushed over. During this month, the two resurrected people really felt the changes in the world, and they were also full of awe and curiosity towards Namikaze Kirito. They know what kind of character their loved ones follow. The most ferocious criminals in the world, the strongest men, and the 4 emperors, the titles are countless. Every title, without exception, is showing the strength of the man in front of him. But it is such a person who has been slandered by newspapers recently. Boss, this incident is very strange. The newspapers that I paid with money before did not accept my news anymore. This is obviously manipulated by someone. Since Stella's resurrection, Tezzolo has become more talkative and extremely loyal. He knows that Namikaze Kirito can revive his most important person, and of course he can directly disappear into this world with the person he loves the most. So, after Stella was resurrected, his only wish now is to help Namikaze Kirito achieve his goal. Not only that, those underground forces have all severed ties with our Don Quixote family. Doflamingo's forehead bulged with veins when he said this. He is angry. How dare those people do this? I can't lift a knife. Boss, what the hell is going on here? Looking at Namikaze Kirito's smiling face, Katakuri knew that his leader had already guessed the situation, so he asked quickly. If you guessed correctly, soon, you will be able to go to the new world with me to fight. This is just because of the world's backlash, so there is no need to be angry with them. The first time Namikaze Kirito saw the news, he guessed that it was the work of the world order. Otherwise, who can control the forces of the world to be hostile to them at the same time? The world government doesn't have this kind of power, and it's impossible for other forces hidden in the dark to achieve this level. As for why his subordinates were not affected, Namikaze Kirito can also roughly understand. As long as the people who follow him have a breath of otherworld on them, the world order can manipulate people in their own world, but it will definitely not interfere with the breath of other worlds. Otherwise, wouldn't it be a mess? These worlds cannot be saved by Namikaze Kirito. Advertisement. It is estimated that between the world and the world, it can be done. Want to fight in a new world? There was a trace of heat in the eyes of Katakuri and the others. After witnessing the miraculous power of the resurrection of the dead, no one has the slightest doubt about Namikaze Kirito. Now I am thinking about what the new world will look like. People can travel to other worlds. Would they be interested in the history of one of the worlds? A new world. After learning that there is another world, Nico Robin told Nami and his mother Albia about it. Is it because of the resurrection of my mother so I am grateful, or because I have been together for a period of time and have feelings, or both? She doesn't know why she feels this way. She can't say it herself, but there is only one thing for sure, that is, when she knows that Namikaze Kirito will leave this world sooner or later, the sense of loss in her heart is real. This is also Namikaze Kirito's hint. After all, Nico Robin is already his woman. But after thinking about Namikaze Kirito's appearance in the sky, the power that is different from ordinary people and the method of resurrecting people, it is not an exaggeration to say that he is a god in the world. Nico Robin has excitement, happiness, and curiosity in his heart, but there is no fear. I just heard that Namikaze Kirito will take everyone to conquer the new world. At first, I didn't believe it either. The second is because of the curiosity of scholars. Knowing that there is another world, how can we not find out? Nami and Robin looked at each other. During this time, Robin also learned the news of other worlds from Boa Hancock. Being by Namikaze Kirito's side, I am afraid that no one will have the emotion of fear. At the same time, Nico Robin also understands why Fung Kirito doesn't have much interest in the history of the blank. At the same time, there is still a sense of loss in my heart. 0.8 does not know when Namikaze Kirito will choose to leave. So I subconsciously believed it. In this world, after so many years, there has never been such a person. Chapter 306 Mother and Daughter Talk. Ever since Namikaze Kirito told many of his subordinates that he wanted to fight the otherworld. These days, Doflamingo has moved the entire Don Quixote family to Cake Island. Now the whole world is full of enemies. Those people dare not directly attack Cake Island. Who knows if they will attack the surrounding people? All of a sudden, the entire Cake Island began to prepare for battle. And Katakuri and other cadres also started to train their subordinates and themselves crazily as if they had been injected with chicken blood. I heard that in other worlds, there are not only gods and demons who can turn the world upside down with a wave of their hands, but what's more, they can blow up a planet at will. Namikaze Kirito isn't quite sure what the next world will look like either. He has great strength, so there is no need to worry, but the people below are different. After seeing the gap in strength between himself and others and Namikaze Kirito, who can maintain a normal heart. Everyone wished to have a few more brains, and consider where their own strengths are lacking. Don't forget, Namikaze Kirito said before that he can give power directly, but for things like power 29 stars, even if you give more, if you can't use it, it's the same as if you didn't give it. So Katakuri and the others are thinking about what they lack the most. Inside a house on Cake Island, Nico Robin chats with his mother, Nicole Albia. The house was specially arranged by Katakuri, and the decoration is simple and elegant, because there are a large number of books in it. I have to say that Katakuri is worthy of being called a perfect man, and he is not to mention careful. After knowing the relationship between Nico Robin and his leader, he immediately started to prepare. He took care of the house and collection of books. There are several bedrooms in the house, where Nami and Orbia also live. Robin, are you also determined to leave this world with Mr. Kirito in the future? Hearing his mother's inquiry, Nico Robin was silent for a moment, and after a while, he raised his head and tapped it lightly. Yes, Mom, as a scholar, the most important thing you should have is the thirst for knowledge, didn't you teach me before? My little Robin has finally grown up. Albia stroked Robin's head. Advertisement. Although it has been a while since the resurrection, there is not enough time to get along with my own children. When Robin was young, Albia basically never accompanied Luo Chen in order to fulfill her late husband's last wish. It can be said that she is an irresponsible mother. In the end, he died tragically in his hometown, leaving little Robin alone, facing endless darkness. Even if the daughter doesn't say it, how can a mother not explore the truth? Nico Robin's deeds can be traced in the sea. He has been called the son of the devil since he was a child, and he has been wanted all the time. After joining the Straw Hat Pirates, he fought against the world government at the Enies lobby. These are only on the surface. They are also scholars. What the world government said that Nico Robin was wanted because of the destruction of 8 warships is simply nonsense. Is it because she can understand ancient characters? And the world government's attitude towards Ohara knows that it is impossible for them to let a person who can understand historical texts live. This is also what Albia loves most about Robin. Ohara disappeared on the territory of the sea, and all the pressure will be concentrated on Nico Robin. At this time, Nico Robin didn't blame her mother, on the contrary, she still enjoyed her mother's touch. She was so lacking in care, and now she finally feels the warmth of her family. You and Mr. Kirito, what happened to you? Nico Robin, who was enjoying the family affection, froze when he heard his mother's words. No, mother, what did you say? Still hiding it from me. Albia said angrily. She didn't know what happened at first, but a few days ago, she accidentally saw her daughter being kissed by Namikaze Kirito in a restaurant. Coupled with the amorous feeling between Robin's eyebrows, obviously not for a girl. On the contrary, she looks like a mature, beautiful woman. As someone who has experienced it, Albia can certainly see it. Advertisement. What's more, she put her hand on Nico Robin's head just now, and the moment she mentioned Namikaze Kirito, how could Nico Robin not feel the obvious stiffness? I really didn't, Nico Robin explained in a panic, his pretty face flushed slightly. To be honest, she doesn't know how to treat Namikaze Kirito, the two have already had a substantial relationship. But after all, it has not been made public yet, let alone a marriage contract. How can this be said to the mother? Okay, how can I still not understand my daughter? I don't mean to blame you. Albia joked. Thinking of this, Albia looked at Nico Robin with even more compassion. Nico Robin has grown up, and more than that, she also has her own adventures in her own life. As a mother, no matter what her daughter chooses, she just needs to silently support her. It's just that she suddenly remembered that when she met Namikaze Kirito in the morning, the other party said that she wanted to come to her. Albia also told Nico Robin the archaeological knowledge he had learned and the clues of blank history. But Albia has an extremely deep sense of guilt towards Robin. The two chatted from day to night, and they didn't stop during the meal. The mother and daughter chatted like this, as if the topic could never be finished. Nico Robin chose the exciting parts of his adventures in the sea over the years to Albia. Actually, anyone can see the relationship between Namikaze Kirito and Boa Hancock. Originally, as a mother, Albia should persuade Niccolo. I'm sorry, Mom, for delaying your rest. Looking at the moonlight outside the window, Albia said softly, Robin, it's getting late, let's go to bed, we have plenty of time to talk in the future. Albia didn't continue talking. Nico Robin knew that too many words would lead to mistakes, so he just shut his mouth. Instead, if you say what you say, I will just listen. Nico Robin really feels the company of his mother these days, and now he even sleeps with a smile on his face. Love is something that everyone experiences, but I think that Pirate Empress seems to have a very close relationship with Mr. Kirito, you. Stupid child, how could it be? I also like to chat with you. We will have countless time together in the future, so don't rush to 10 o'clock. Albia's tone was full of tenderness. After all, every time he was beside Namikaze Kirito, Boa Hancock wanted to stick directly to him, so it's no wonder he couldn't see it. They have been dead for so many years, and now they have just come back to life. Should they reprimand their daughter? Chapter 307 Entering the Wrong Room, Admitting the Wrong Bride. Thinking of Namikaze Kirito's smirk, Nico Robin's face became hot, counting the time, that person should come too. Thinking of this, he stood up abruptly, which startled Albia who was next to him. Then there was no time to explain, and he quickly ran to his room. Seeing the appearance of Nico Robin, Albia Chai, who has been there before, can also guess the general idea. This child, really, why? As if thinking of something, Albia's pretty face also had a blush. Namikaze Kirito has nothing to do recently. After all, Katakuri and others don't need him to intervene in the training of their subordinates. You only need to observe the movement of the power of the world every day, and discuss life with Boa Hancock and Bakura casually. As a cadre, Smoothie certainly doesn't have much time to get together. Nico Robin has been with his mother recently, and Namikaze Kirito didn't bother him either. It was rare to meet her this morning, so of course he proposed to find her in the evening. Still have to check out Nico Robin's training on flower fruit. It would be a waste if such a good fruit ability is not developed. Of course, the purpose of developing this fruit ability, only Namikaze Kirito and Nico Robin know what it means. When night fell, after coaxing Boa Hancock, Namikaze Kirito also came directly to Nico Robin's house. Look at the quaint decoration. I have to sigh, the children born by Big Mom are all talents. Just looking at the degree of decoration of this house, who would have imagined that it was made of dim sum? For so many days, Namikaze Kirito has never been here once. Ellipsis. Gently pushed open the door, it was already midnight, and here too. The room was pitch black, although it could be sensed with abilities, but Namikaze Kirito did not do so. It's kind of fun after all, isn't it? Asked about Nico Robin before, she lives in the room at the end. He tiptoed in, intending to scare her, and soon came to the end room, and gently opened the door. I thought that Nico Robin would wait for me, but I only heard the sound of even breathing with my hearing beyond ordinary people. Okay, I said I was coming, and you just went to sleep. Didn't wait for me. Namikaze Kirito felt a child's playfulness in his heart, walked directly to the bed, and lay down gently on it. Advertisement. After saying goodbye to Nico Robin, Albia fell asleep directly. It was a rare resurrection, even sleeping, she enjoyed it very much. Because I like cleanliness, I switched rooms with Nico Robin. In the dream, Albia suddenly felt something, and opened his eyes. On his jade arm, there seems to be a hand. Although I was surprised, I didn't feel scared. I just thought that Robin from the next room ran over in the middle of the night. Robin did this a lot before. Thinking of this, Albia closed her beautiful eyes, intending to continue sleeping, but suddenly realized that something was wrong. The trajectory of that hand is definitely not Robin. Just when I was about to ask, I heard a slightly magnetic voice next to my ear. Little Robin, do you still want to pretend to be asleep? Namikaze Kirito has already felt the flustered breathing of Nico Robin, and he is obviously awake, but he is still pretending to be here. Nico Robin, or Albia, how could he not know who the voice was? Obviously Namikaze Kirito. How did he come here and identify himself as Robin? Just as I was about to reprimand loudly, I thought that Nico Robin was in the room next to me. If she saw her, how would I face her? Albia was shocked and wanted to leave here directly. How could Namikaze Kirito let the duck at hand fly again? Is this trying to reject me? Good idea. Namikaze Kirito didn't care about Nico Robin's struggle, and directly embraced Nico Robin with both hands, not letting him leave. This sudden move made Albia have no time to react, and the whole person froze in place, don't dare to move. Although he was refusing, Namikaze Kirito didn't look carefully because the voices of Albia and Nico Robin were too similar, and there was no moonlight tonight. A series of coincidences are intertwined, forming a beautiful misunderstanding. In the middle of the night, things have changed. Namikaze Kirito also woke up. This silver white hair, where is Nico Robin? This is clearly Albia. How could I make such a mistake myself? Commonly speaking, it is impossible at all, that is to say, you know in your heart that it is a mistake, or did you make a mistake? Advertisement. How to do this. Albia was silent for a while, didn't say anything, just looked at the wall silently. 2 lines of crystals flowed out from her pretty face. She was crying not only because this kind of thing happened, but also because she felt a little joy just now. It's just ridiculous. She couldn't shout out. Nami and Nico Robin were both in the room not far away. If someone finds out, will she still be alive? But Namikaze Kirito didn't seem to want to leave, and she didn't know what to say at this time, so she could only proceed as it was a mistake. Namikaze Kirito stretched out his arms, hugged the person next to him, and fell into a deep sleep. Nothing to say all night. Early the next morning, Nico Robin walked out of the room with 2 dark circles under her eyes. At this time, she was in extremely complicated and contradictory mood. On the one hand, she felt lucky, on the other hand, she was a little angry. Obviously have an appointment. What does it mean to suddenly miss an appointment? But it is impossible for her to ask Namikaze Kirito to understand. How do you talk about such a thing? Why didn't you come over yesterday directly? This kind of words, Nico Robin's character can't say it at all. As everyone knows, Namikaze Tong, Zhao Nuos, came here, but went to the wrong room. I returned to the palace with Wangquan Hirosaka early in the morning. On the throne in the palace, Namikaze Kirito was thinking about yesterday's absurdity. I seem to be getting weirder and weirder. Although he has a good impression of Albia who is similar in appearance, Namikaze Kirito still feels that there is something wrong with him. How can you know who the other party is and still act? Could it be because of the chaos of the power of the world that he was also affected? Leader. While Namikaze Kirito was still thinking, the door opened and Smoothie walked in slowly. At this time, she had a gloomy look on her face, as if her mood was not so beautiful. Smoogie, what's the matter? Namikaze Kirito spoke too casually because he was thinking about something, as if he was treating his subordinates. This was normal at first, but at this moment Smoothie's pretty face became even colder. Chapter 308 Smoothie's Grievance. What's wrong with you? As if sensing the weirdness of the atmosphere, Namikaze Kirito also came back from his thoughts and looked at Smoothie with a cold face. I don't know where the other party made a mistake. It's nothing. Smoothie shook his head, without any explanation at all. If you have nothing to do, you can go out. This sentence appeared in Namikaze Kirito's mind, but he didn't say it. After all, the tall woman in front of him also had intimate contact with him. How can you not recognize people when you put on pants? Thinking of this, Namikaze Kirito stood up directly from the throne, and walked slowly in front of Smoothie. By the way, it's a bit too high, can you squat down and talk? Hearing Namikaze Kirito's words, according to Smoothie's character, he was already in anger, so he probably wouldn't talk to him at all. But for some reason, the body still obediently squatted down. Because Smoothie has two super long legs that do not conform to the proportion of his body, after squatting down, he is just a little shorter than Namikaze Kirito. It's much more comfortable that way. After saying this, Namikaze Kirito held Smoothie in his arms. What are you doing 687? Smoothie wanted to struggle away, but after struggling for a long time, he couldn't escape, and could only lean on Namikaze Kirito's chest as if resigned to his fate. Seeing this scene, Namikaze Kirito pouted. Oh, woman, duplicity. Smoothie didn't use any force at all. After all, Namikaze Kirito just wrapped her in his arms and didn't use much force. If he really wanted to break free, he might be able to escape directly. Tell me, what's wrong? Getting so angry again. Smoothie was silent for a moment, then parted his red lips lightly, and said in a tone of dissatisfaction and resentment. It's nothing, how can I be angry? After all, you are my leader, and you are close to the Empress and other women, it's nothing to me relation. As soon as this remark came out, Namikaze Kirito didn't say anything, but Smoothie was stunned. What is this talking about? Why are you still jealous? Advertisement. Is it really in love with Namikaze Kirito? Just because of two close contacts? In fact, if you think about it carefully, you can understand that Smoothie is a strong woman, otherwise she would not have tried her best to reach the position of the dessert 3 stars when she was under Big Mom. Such a person, no matter what he deals with, has a competitive heart and extremely high self-confidence. When he was burning the warehouse before, facing his older brother Katakuri, he knew that he was the most perfect man, and he was also the highest combat power of the Big Mom pirates. Even subconsciously knew that she might not be Katakuri's opponent. Even so, the first time I saw Katakuri, I was thinking about how to deal with the other party, rather than explaining my behavior. Since Namikaze Kirito appeared in front of her eyes, all her self-confidence and self-esteem were shattered. Such a strong man who crushed her in all directions, or crushed anyone, who can maintain confidence in front of him. From the intimate contact with Jade Feet in the hotel to the kiss on the battlefield, Smoothie's heart has slowly fallen. After Boa Hancock and Bakula came to the island, they got bored with Namikaze Kirito every day. Smoothie's competitive spirit rose again, and the Empress had to admit that she was the most beautiful in the world, but even so, Smoothie felt that she did not fall behind her counterpart in terms of appearance. What's more, there is also the racial advantage of this long-legged race. In terms of ability, even if Boa Hancock is the pirate Empress, she is also the 3 desert generals. Subconsciously, he regarded the Empress as an imaginary enemy. This situation did not last until the appearance of Nico Robin. She found herself completely devastated, thinking that Namikaze Kirito's kiss was just a joke. Until this morning, she was supposed to be training her men. As a result, when I passed by Nico Robin's house, after all, the height CJBH was there, and I saw a woman with white hair directly through the window. Nico Robin's mother, Albia. Then I saw a dark scene flashing in that room. As long as people in Gensokyo know that their leader has the ability to teleport. When this ability is used, a shady scene will appear, just like a portal. How could Smoothie not know what happened? Namikaze Kirito actually attacked Albia. Plus Nico Robin. Where is the difference? Would you rather find those 2 women than yourself? Advertisement. The more she thought about it, the more angry she became, and she didn't even have the heart to train her subordinates. After letting her subordinates train by themselves, she came to the palace. Unexpectedly, after arriving, Namikaze Kirito still talked to himself in that flat tone. Is the intimacy with oneself all fake? Not to mention Smoothie's inner activities, Namikaze Kirito smiled wryly after hearing Smoothie's words. At first, I thought it was where Smoothie got offended, but it turned out that it was because of jealousy. I'm sorry, I didn't consider your feelings. Namikaze Kirito's embrace tightened a little, Sheng said. What feelings? I'm not jealous, don't talk nonsense. But now that she was in Namikaze Kirito's arms, the anger gradually disappeared, leaving only helplessness, and she didn't know what to do. I am afraid of being seen by others. Faced with Namikaze Kirito's gentle tone, Smoothie suddenly panicked and her pretty face turned red. Of course he couldn't break free, not to mention, he was worried that Robin next door would hear him, so he could only acquiesce in Namikaze Kirito's behavior, and immediately ran out of the room as soon as dawn came. Forgive me, wait for me, I will find you. In fact, what Namikaze Kirito doesn't know is that Albia's strength is not very strong. She is just a scholar and has no ability. That woman didn't even resist. Well, ellipsis 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 quote. Caressing the soft hair, seeing Smoothie's silver white hair, Namikaze Kirito remembered the beauty of last night. I don't know how to face Albia and Nico Robin in the future. The faces of the two slowly moved closer. Okay, don't be jealous, I was thinking about something just now, so I didn't worry about you. Sorry, I will pay more attention to you in the future. Namikaze Kirito reached out and took off the hood on Smoothie's head. But at this time, how could Namikaze Kirito let her break free? Smoothie was so angry that he tried hard to break free. Using a little force with both hands, Smoothie fell limply into Namikaze Kirito's arms like a puddle of water. Smoothie listened to Namikaze Kirito's words of love for her. Unconsciously, the extinction of Yin Shin had completely dissipated. I didn't say you were jealous, why are you so excited? Namikaze Kirito teased. Chapter 309 The Arrival of the Three Disasters. On New World, an unnamed island, the red hair pirates are discussing matters with the remnants of Whitebeard. Shanks, this thing is so weird. Beckman called Shanks to a hidden corner and spoke in a deep voice. Of course, they have all heard the news from the sea recently, and now Gensokyo led by Namikaze Kirito has basically become the public enemy of the world. Regardless of whether they are leaders of large or small forces, they basically have a deep hatred for Namikaze Kirito. Because of this, the red-haired Shanks' plan did not go too smoothly. Today, Marco led many captains of the Whitebeard pirates to find Red Hair, expressing that he would form an alliance with Red Hair Shanks to deal with Namikaze Kirito together. You know, after the last turmoil, the remnants of the Whitebeard pirates have some opinions on Red Hair. Have you teamed up with Marine? Still looking for our Whitebeard pirates? Don't you know we have a huge hatred? Especially Marco, he is a solid supporter of Whitebeard, how could he put aside all opinions directly, and even came to discuss an alliance on his own initiative to deal with Namikaze Kirito? There is no conflict between the Whitebeard pirates and Gensokyo, except for the last incident, but in the final analysis, the last incident was planned by the Red Hair. The purpose is to test the forces that Namikaze Kirito can mobilize. The redhead listened to Beckman's analysis, and his face was full of vicissitudes of life. He has encountered too many such problems these days. First, the forces he persuaded before all directly agreed to deal with Namikaze Kirito. A few days ago, these forces had expressed inwardly and outwardly that they did not want to offend Namikaze Kirito, who was in the limelight, but now they have all changed their tone. The world government is even more strange. When the redhead boarded the Holy Land, he talked with the five elders for a long time about the plan for Namikaze Kirito. Later, the five elders promised that the two forces would be able to cooperate after the Marine side recruited troops from around the world and prepared the troops. As a result, it is also said through the phone bug that the final battle is about to start. All signs indicate that something has happened, but they don't know what's going on. Probably because the redheads themselves had to deal with Namikaze Kirito, so the power of the world didn't affect them. Instead, the red-haired Shanks and Beckman were the most sober people. Advertisement. I also think it's a bit weird, it's going so well. The red-haired Shanks is not Luffy's kind of brash who wants to solve everything with his fists. Although he is very bold on weekdays, he has to admit that he also has a very high IQ. Otherwise, let's put our plan first. I don't understand this incident. Beckman shook his head and said. As the right hand of the red hair, no matter what the red hair pirates do on weekdays, it is he who plans it. Nowadays, the pattern of the world makes him more and more incomprehensible, although it seems that this matter has no disadvantages but advantages for them. But there was a faint unease in Beckman's heart, and it was this unease that made Beckman want to persuade the redhead to give up the plan. If it was a normal day, the redhead would probably agree immediately, he has great trust in his companions, especially Beckman. But now those forces that were contacted before have agreed to take action. If Red Hair gave up first at this time, who would he be? Red Hair pirates probably would not be able to survive in the sea. We all joined in the things you provoked, and you told us later, you said you gave up, and we will talk about it next time. How can such a thing be done? Beckman saw the redhead's concerns, and sighed helplessly. Now they were obviously pushed to the forefront by an invisible big hand these days. Just when the Red Hair and Beckman were speechless, a subordinate suddenly ran over. Old boss, Beast's pirates, over. Hearing this, the redhead and Beckman hurried out. That guy Kaido is here, so he can't relax. After all, Kaido thinks that when he came out, maybe he came to fight. In the past, the many battles were all because Kaido had nothing to do, so he came up rashly. At this time, everyone in the Whitebeard pirates also stood behind the red-haired Shanks. It has to be said that the current red-haired, leaving Namikaze Kirito behind, has really become the strongest force in the new world. Looking at the sea, sure enough, a huge ship with the flag of Beast's pirates was slowly approaching. The whereabouts of the red hair pirates is no secret. Recently, they have been interviewing the leaders of the big and small forces. Seeking flowers. 0. It's no surprise that the Beast's pirates were able to find out where they were. Advertisement. In other words, the redhead didn't even think about hiding herself. That day, when Namikaze Kirito let them go, he said that he wanted to see what kind of plans they had. So there is no need to hide at all. Soon, the giant ship slowly docked, and the red hair pirates and Whitebeard pirates took up their weapons one by one, their faces full of vigilance. The leader is Quinn, one of the three plagues. The redhead and Beckman exchanged glances, and both could see each other's surprise. Hearing Beckman's question, Quinn didn't speak, but stared at the redhead and Beckman closely with a pair of small glasses with sunglasses. This is too arrogant. You know, there are all the captains of the Whitebeard pirates and all the members of the Red Hair pirates on the island. No matter what, labor and management don't bother to join forces with others, and they don't have the slightest intention to deal with Namikaze Kirito. Quinn walked up to the red hair and greeted him familiarly, then looked at the people behind him, and said softly, "Don't be so nervous, I didn't come here for a fight this time, and Boss Kaido didn't know I was coming. At 2h at carat at plus. Beckman, why don't we talk in another place?" Quinn said meaningfully. Red hair, long time no see. What? Tell me, one of the 3 plagues of the mighty beasts pirates, what's the matter with us? Hearing this, the redhead turned his head and gave everyone a reassuring look, and then, together with Beckman, brought Quinn to a quiet place. At that time, Big Mom just politely refused, but that lunatic Kaido directly brandished a mace and fought with the redhead. But when the people above came down, everyone was a little dazed. Kaido didn't come. When Big Mom was still alive, the red hair approached her and Kaido, and wanted to deal with Namikaze Kirito. Of course, he had to be a strong person standing at the top of the world. They don't know what Kaido means. Not long after, it seemed that something was confirmed, and he let out a long sigh of relief. Boss Kaido is going to attack Cake Island. Quinn, what are you going to do? Beckman spoke in a deep voice with a cigarette in his mouth. With such a configuration, even if Kaido came, he would have to go out sideways, and in the end only one cadre was sent. Chapter 310 Manipulated by whom? Obviously Kaido didn't intend to provoke Namikaze Kirito before, why did he suddenly change his mind at this time? Coupled with the recent changes in the forces in the sea, Red Hair and Beckman frowned tightly. There are indications that this incident is definitely not a coincidence. If Namikaze Kirito has shown some ambition to conquer the world recently, Namikaze Kirito himself and his powerful Gensokyo have not made any moves. The newspaper publishers have already told Hongfa and the others about the information on Cake Island. Although Cake Island is currently in a state of military training, it is entirely because the forces around the world have developed deep malice towards them. People are just in case of a rainy day. Since there is no intention of disturbing the world, what kind of stimulation are the people of those forces now? They actually want to attack Namikaze Kirito on 153. First, rule out the possibility of being manipulated. If people in the world government will obey the orders of the high level and execute the plan on Namikaze Kirito, what about people from other forces in the sea? In particular, there are Whitebeard pirates and Beasts pirates. The former has a monstrous hatred with the world government, and it is impossible to act together. As for the latter, he is a person who does whatever he wants. What kind of person can manipulate Kaido to obey orders? That is simply unimaginable. Seeing the red-haired and Beckman face becoming more and more serious, Quinn also had a bad feeling. As one of the 3 disasters, he is also the think tank of the Beasts pirates on weekdays. I have not had much contact with the red-hair pirates, and I know that if the red-haired Shanks and Beckman show such expressions, it means that things will be difficult. Thinking about the recent change of Kaido boss, I feel even more anxious. Redhead, Beckman, what on earth do you two mean? I came here with sincerity, do you still want to do this? Quinn stared at the 2 angrily, as if saying that if you have something to say, don't. Said he was about to flip the table. Sorry, Quinn. The red-haired Shanks apologized, scratched his head and said, actually, I have nothing to hide from you. I just have an unreliable guess now. By the way, that guy Kaido recently, have you come into contact with any strange people? Or, has there been a big change? Advertisement. At this critical moment, Quinn didn't care what the redhead called his boss anymore. His brain was thinking crazily, wondering if there was anything abnormal about his boss recently. After thinking for a long time, he opened his mouth uncertainly. If you want to talk about strangers, you have never met them. After all, our territory is usually closed. Quinn is right about this point. Under the rule of Kaido, Wano Kuni itself implemented a policy of locking the country and did not contact people from the outside world. The redhead and Beckman obviously knew it too, so they nodded at the same time, and continued to look at Quinn, waiting for his next words. If there is an abnormal behavior, that is, Kaido boss was discussing with us that day about a plan we were going to complete, and halfway through the conversation, he suddenly froze in place. After waiting for a long time, I came back to my senses, and then I didn't care about the problem of the plan, and directly ordered us to prepare the team and attack the Cake Island. Correct. Redhead and Beckman didn't care about the plan, Quinn said, because even if they asked, the other party wouldn't tell. Instead, Quinn said that Kaido was in a daze during the discussion of the plan. It is definitely because of what happened during that time that Kaido has such a change. Marco also changed suddenly. In contrast, Ace hesitated for a long time, and now he just passively followed his own pirate group here. Ace has already learned that Namikaze Kirito helped Luffy and others, plus the life-saving grace of some at war in the matter of sparing the Whitebeard pirates last time. He is a person with clear grievances. Namikaze Kirito has a lot of kindness towards him, how can he attack others again? But in the end, Marco couldn't be screwed, and the group came to the red-haired place. Not long after arriving here, I chatted with Hongfa about Marco's changes. At first, Hongfa and Beckman didn't take it seriously, only thinking that Marco also had a plan for the sake of the world structure. Listening to what Quinn said now, even Kaido has undergone inexplicable changes. The two looked at each other, and a chill rose straight from the back. What kind of person or what kind of ability can influence a person's thoughts, and even affect the direction of the whole world at the same time? Advertisement. Including giants like Kaido and world government, can they be manipulated in the palm of their hands? This is just too scary. Quinn also sensed that the atmosphere of the two people on the opposite side was abnormal, and asked quickly, "You guys hurry up and talk. I can't come out for too long this time. If Boss Kaido finds out that I came out to look for you secretly, I guess my fate will not be so good go. He's already crazy about the Cake Island. If that be D Jin and I didn't stop him, the Kaido boss should have killed Cake Island by himself by now." Call. The red-haired took a deep breath, and said solemnly to Quinn, "We are not hiding it from you, but the current speculation is too shocking. If you say it, you will think we are crazy. The boss of our pirate group is the craziest one. Do you think I still feel strange about other people's crazy actions?" Quinn smiled wryly. Indeed, among the previous 4 emperors, if anyone was to say who was a complete lunatic, Kaido ranked second, and no one dared to claim the first. A large part of the war in the New World was due to Kaido's crazy actions on weekdays. When he was drunk, he went to other people's sites to make trouble, not to mention a few people who were also 4 emperors, even naval headquarters, he went there whenever he wanted, and he was often arrested in his life. 4.3 If it wasn't because his body was too strong, he wouldn't have been executed, he would have died dozens of times. You may not know that you are in Wano Kuni, but now all the big and small forces in the sea are planning to start a war against Namikaze Kirito. The red-haired person said the latest form slowly. What? As soon as this remark came out, Quinn opened his mouth wide. He never expected this to be the case. No wonder the remnants of the Whitebeard pirates could be seen from the island where the redhead was. No wonder Redhead and Beckman showed such serious expressions when they heard that their boss was going to attack Namikaze Kirito. Quinn is different from the reckless Jack, he just heard the red hair and thought of the problem. Why did Namikaze Kirito suddenly become an enemy of the whole world? This is simply an unreasonable thing. Chapter 311 Is there really someone behind the scenes? How could this be? Quinn said blankly. This incident was simply unbelievable. The red hair was right. When hearing this incident for the first time, everyone would think that the person who sent the information must be crazy. Even one of the 3 plagues of the beast's pirates, who has faced countless situations before, has never experienced anything like this now. One person plus the forces under his banner, standing on the opposite side of the whole world. And in just a few days. If it is said that there is no agreement, ghosts will not believe it, but the facts are in front of our eyes, our boss is indeed a whim, and he is going to fight Namikaze Kirito. Could it be that at the same time, people all over the world are crazy? They all want to find fault with Namikaze Kirito. Namikaze Kirito is not a soft persimmon. He alone has the title of the strongest in the world, with all the forces of the Big Mom pirate group under his banner, plus a few Shichibukai. No one can refute that he is the strongest evil party force in the New World. Just such a terrifying person, no matter whether it is a big or small force, he wants to challenge him. What's the matter? Think he has a long life? Quinn's shock was within the redhead's expectation. It is estimated that whoever told 29 about this matter would have the same expression on the other side. Because the facts he heard were too shocking, Quinn waited for a long time before continuing to ask. Redhead, you haven't finished talking yet, right? This is just the current situation, and you haven't said your guess yet. Someone manipulated the whole world, including your captain, Kaido of the Beasts. The redhead said simply and clearly. Hearing what the redhead said, Quinn's first reaction was that it was impossible to manipulate people all over the world. Even his own Kaido boss. What kind of person has such ability? Let's not talk about whether there is such a devil fruit, even if there is, they can control their own boss, so how come their younger brothers are not affected? And the red hair and others who are also 4 emperors. Seeing Quinn's question, the redhead continued to explain, you probably want to ask why I wasn't manipulated. I can tell you with certainty that even I have no plan to escape from the person behind the scenes. Advertisement. As for why my thoughts were not affected, I think it's probably because the people behind the scenes knew that I planned to attack Namikaze Kirito. 11. In other words, my enmity with Namikaze Kirito is not a secret in the entire ocean. The red-haired man said seriously, it is estimated that this person who manipulates other people's thoughts needs a leader. Unfortunately, I am the leader, because I was the first to attack Namikaze Kirito. In a way, it's the years I've been wanting to take on Namikaze Kirito that saved me. The red-haired self-deprecation is actually not unfounded. He is confident in his own strength, but it does not mean he is arrogant. The other party can even manipulate the world government and Kaido. So what else does he have? Surely he can also manipulate it, but because he intends to do something to Namikaze Kirito, the other party spares him. Beckman did not speak at the side, and he also thought of things that the redhead could think of. The reason why I didn't say anything is because it doesn't make sense to say anything in the current situation. The so-called black hand behind the scenes was just their guess, whether there was such a person or whether the other party was a person was not clear. If put it before, Beckman also does not believe such a crazy thing. But after seeing Namikaze Kirito's personal combat power enough to suppress everything, it's not surprising that Baker feels that there are strange people and things in this world. Obviously, the mastermind behind the scenes did this series of things with the intention of defeating or even killing Namikaze Kirito. Can the identity of the behind-the-scenes man who can stand on the opposite side of the strongest man in the world be simple? It seems that I and others are obviously being used as flags, and Namikaze Kirito and the man behind the scenes are the two people who are playing chess. Thinking of this, Beckman couldn't help but have a wry smile on his face. Because of his extraordinary IQ, he has always been the one who schemes against others. Suddenly, one day, he finds out that he and others are the ones being schemed against. This kind of feeling is not pleasant at all. He and the red hair have been thinking about what plan to take with Feng Shangren. It seems a bit too ridiculous now. They have long been regarded as a plan by other people to deal with Namikaze Kirito. After a long time, Quinn seemed to accept this fact, and said seriously, "What are you going to do?" "What should I do?" The redhead smiled self-deprecatingly. "I don't know what to do. At the beginning, I thought that Namikaze Kirito disrupted the pattern of this world, so I plan to stop him and contact everyone who can make a move. Advertisement. And now, it seems that my wish has come true, and the whole world is going to help me deal with Namikaze Kirito. Isn't this a good thing? Your goal can be achieved." Quinn sneered. He said some mysterious things to the red hair. What kind of behavior to maintain the world pattern? Under the education of Kaido, even people with brains like Quinn and Jin behave with a bit of recklessness. Hearing the redhead talking to himself, Beckman also looked horrified. "Red hair, I'm here to inform you. Cut. It's funny. That shot against Namikaze Kirito became a multiple-choice question. After figuring out the truth, he has no intention of organizing Kaido's boss, no matter whether Kaido is manipulated or not, the boss is the boss." At this moment, Quinn stood up directly, with a look of disdain on his face. He came here to find out the truth of the matter. In contrast, only Kaido, the kind of person who goes straight and does what he wants, even wants to start a world war, is such a boss worth following. Although he has a high IQ, sometimes a word from Hongfa can point to the root of the matter, which is why Beckman admires Hongfa and sincerely follows him. Is it achieved? Maybe, but at this time, I am in a state of confusion again. If there is really a mastermind behind the scenes, he must be very afraid of Namikaze Kirito. At first, I was shocked by what the red hair said, but now seeing the decadent look on the red hair, I feel a little uncomfortable. Now, the red hair's guess should be close to 10, and the whole thing is similar to what the red hair described. Then will we really push the world into the abyss? If he had the ability to deal with Namikaze Kirito, it would be nice to show up directly, but he didn't do that. Instead, he used the entire 483 world to fight against Namikaze Kirito. If it really helped him achieve his plan. Just follow in the footsteps of the boss. If you choose the wrong one, it will really be an abyss. Chapter 312. Let's shot together. We will launch an attack on Cake Island soon, which is what happened in the past few days. Boss Kaido disdains to cooperate with you. But as a subordinate, I have to think about it for the whole pirate group. Quinn said lightly. I have to admit that there is a big gap between us and Gensokyo led by Namikaze Kirito, so I personally hope that you can launch an attack on Cake Island at the same time as us. It was said that Red Hair and Beckman didn't feel ashamed of each other. On the contrary, this kind of being able to come out alone behind Kaido's back to seek cooperation is also for the sake of his own pirate group. Today's Namikaze Kirito is not something that any force can face alone. The red hair teamed up with the Whitebeard pirates before, but left in embarrassment, which is the best example. Quinn, this is my phone bug. The redhead got up straight away, and took out a phone bug from his bosom. Tell me when you have a specific action time, and my side will cooperate. Quinn nodded while holding the phone bug, and then put it in his arms. As he said, although this move violated the orders of the Kaido boss, the original intention was still for the sake of the entire pirate group. It can be said that Quinn is a very good subordinate. Even if he realizes that something is wrong with his boss, the boss is the boss, and the captain's order is absolute. If the order is to attack Cake Island, then what a subordinate has to do is to prepare the army and launch the attack directly. The reason why I came to look for Hongfa was to let myself and the others be counted against, and to be able to retreat completely, or to save some strength so that I could stand up again. After Quinn left, only Redhead and Beckman were left in the room. Shanks, is it really decided? Hearing the partner's inquiry, the red-haired Shanks sighed helplessly. Do we have any other options now? Kaido and the world government are both involved. Even if we don't take action, we still can't avoid this war. If it can't be avoided, let's make the final battle more enjoyable, and send a list of participants to Cake Island in advance. Advertisement. Hearing this, Beckman's pupils constricted. He didn't know what the redhead's move meant. Now that we have decided to attack Cake Island, how can we tell Namikaze Kirito what to do with our forces? In order to test it out, we almost became strangers to the Whitebeard pirates. If you tell Namikaze Kirito what's going on here now, wouldn't it be equivalent to doing nothing for the previous investigations? It's okay, as I said, since it's unavoidable, come here quickly. Last time Namikaze Kirito let us go, we already took advantage of it. This time, I don't plan to hide anymore, let's have an upright duel. In this way, even if in the end, the world is completely destroyed, it can be regarded as our best effort. After all, the red-haired Shanks walked out of the room, looking at the blue sky, his thoughts drifted away for a while. Cake Island. During this time, Namikaze Kirito only needs to see Nico Robin, and Albia will never appear. Even during the banquet, Albia didn't show up. This method of self-deception also made Namikaze Kirito feel a faint sense of guilt. Nico Robin was also very puzzled. His mother clearly said some time ago that she wanted to know more about Namikaze Kirito. But recently, whenever he is mentioned, why does mother's face appear flustered? As I said before, Nico Robin is very sensitive to people. She noticed the changes in Albia, but she didn't know what happened. I also asked a few times, but every time Albia obviously changed the topic. This made Nico Robin more and more confused, but she couldn't ask if the other party didn't tell her. It happened that Namikaze Kirito sent someone to look for her today. This is a great opportunity to find out the truth. Then Nico Robin came directly to the palace. Boa Hancock and Bakura went to the island to taste the delicious things today, so Namikaze Kirito is the only one sitting on the highest throne in the Noda Palace. After Nico Robin came in, he glanced at Namikaze Kirito and then slowly came to him. No matter how many times she looks at it, the man in front of her can give her a little bit of soul trembling, and she has obviously become the closest person. But it felt out of reach. Advertisement. You came. Namikaze Kirito saw Nico Robin walking in front of him, his face was full of joy, and he stretched out his hand directly, intending to hug him into his arms. But Nico Robin flashed directly, past the opponent's touch. What does this mean? Namikaze Kirito was at a loss, he didn't know how to offend each other, obviously the relationship between the two had warmed up in recent days, why did they suddenly become cold? Nico Robin said embarrassedly, is it because you have just been resurrected, so you feel a little uncomfortable physically? Namikaze Kirito pretended to be concerned. It seems that Albia doesn't want to tell Nicole Mono's bin about the matter, after all, as a mother, she still needs to have dignity. Did you know about that? You know, there is nothing that can make him feel guilty. My mother, she and you. So you're suspicious of me? Namikaze Kirito said lightly, with a gloomy look in his eyes. Looking carefully at Namikaze Kirito's eyes, Nico Robin stared at him for a long time, and finally found that Namikaze Kirito seemed to really know nothing. Hearing this, Namikaze Kirito felt relieved, it turned out that the other party hadn't found the problem yet. Thinking of the face that has 9 points like Nico Robin, Namikaze Kirito couldn't help being surprised. Nico Robin took a deep breath, and then continued to ask, something is wrong with my mother these days, is something happened to you too? Every time I ask her, she is obviously avoiding me. But it is only the woman who faces her own, sometimes, it is inevitable to have a different feeling. The reason why she came to ask Namikaze Kirito was because she was afraid of any conflicts between the two of them. One side was her relatives, and the other side was someone who had a little affection, not to mention that they both handed over everything they had. Nico Robin didn't want any unnecessary disputes between the two. Namikaze Kirito looked at Nico Robin pretending to be puzzled. Although he thought that the other party had found out about this, no matter what, he had to refuse to admit it first, otherwise it would be self-inflicted. Only then did the cloudy turn to sunny. Sorry, I may have cared too much about my mother during this period, so I was a little suspicious. That's easy. When he does anything, he basically does it as he pleases, so there is no such thing as hair and guilty conscience. 313 chapters playing hard to get. Sorry, I misunderstood you. Looking at Namikaze Kirito's gloomy appearance, Nico Robin is also full of apologies. She really didn't want the other party to have any conflicts with her mother, so she just came to ask. Unexpectedly, it was such an inquiry that made Namikaze Kirito feel so sad that he didn't trust him. If he had known this earlier, it would be better not to ask. The more depressed Namikaze Kirito's mood was, the more embarrassed Nico Robin became. I can't do it with guilt, and I don't know how to get rid of the other party. Hey, I know, you think our relationship is just a deal, and I've been making up for you all the time, I want you to really care about me, but I didn't expect that what I got in exchange was just distrust. If that's the case, wait a while, I will arrange for you and Nami to leave first. Namikaze Kirito continued quietly. After all, this island is no longer safe. It is a good thing for you to leave early. It is estimated that soon, the whole world will be my enemy. The people on the island now basically stay here sincerely. If someone wants to leave, of course I won't stop them. Let's leave early. The effect of Namikaze 817 Kirito's weakness was very obvious. Hearing what the other party said, Nico Robin's delicate body trembled, and he almost lost his footing. Cake Island is now facing countless enemies, this matter is not a secret, basically everyone knows it. But in this sea, the most indispensable thing is the hero of blood. In addition, there are cadres like Katakuri and Doflamingo who can win people's hearts, so no one wants to leave Gensokyo. I have to say that Namikaze Kirito has a very good vision. With these few subordinates, a lot of trouble can be saved. If it was before, Nico Robin probably wanted to leave immediately after hearing what Namikaze Kirito said. Before joining the Straw Hat Pirates, she was in the midst of countless betrayals and being betrayed. Even joining Crocodile's forces was to use the other party to get a temporary refuge and watch the historical texts of Alabasta. Now Nico Robin has changed a long time ago, and has a close relationship with Namikaze Kirito, and the two have been together for a while. Indeed, Namikaze Kirito treats her in every possible way, CJCD. As the strongest man in the world, it is absolutely impossible to care for and comfort someone else carefully. But Namikaze Kirito did it, so Nico Robin's heart is melting day by day. Coming here to find Namikaze Kirito and asking her was a sign of distrust, and it can be said that she was in the wrong. Advertisement. Let Namikaze Kirito completely misunderstand his own mind. Nico Robin felt suffocated for a moment, as if something was cracking in his heart. Seeing that Nico Robin did not speak, Namikaze Kirito took a sneaky look at him. He said these words to retreat, so that he can better allow the other party to repay himself. As for letting Nico Robin leave, Namikaze Kirito didn't think about it. She is already his woman, so she must stay by his side. As long as she is by his side, why is there such a word as danger? What needs to be done now is to make Nico Robin more and more intimate with him, and the relationship is getting deeper and deeper. Otherwise, when the Straw Hat crew is ready to go to sea, what if Nico Robin gets hot and follows him? In that case, even if the world is awakened, it will be meaningless. Namikaze Kirito has never been a heartless person, as can be seen from everything that happens in the world of Hokage. He is obviously a time traveler, but he feels the warmth of his family from the fourth-generation couple, and he truly becomes a family member with them. As for his women, every one of them makes him love him very much. After seeing Nico Robin's face, Namikaze Kirito subconsciously thought, is it a bit too aggressive? It won't irritate the other party, will it? While Namikaze Kirito was still thinking, Nico Robin finally spoke. Do you really want me to leave? Hearing this, Namikaze Kirito immediately made a deep expression. Isn't this your wish? I just promised you. Really, I got it. Nico Robin suddenly raised his voice, then turned around and planned to leave. It's over. Overused. Seeing this scene, Namikaze Kirito knew something was wrong. Just about to stand up and ask to stay, Nico Robin turned his head and threw himself into Namikaze Kirito's arms. After a brief moment of stupefaction, Namikaze Kirito slowly wrapped his arms around the opponent. Advertisement. Nico Robin's tender body trembled slightly in Namikaze Kirito's arms, obviously crying. Namikaze Kirito didn't speak either, and reached out to caress the other's jade back. I don't know how long it took before Nico Robin's mood stabilized. Lifting her head, revealing a pear blossoming face, she said softly, do you still want me to leave? How could I be willing to let you go? Namikaze Kirito said softly, staring at those slightly reddened beautiful eyes. Anyway, it has been exposed. Namikaze Kirito stopped pretending to be serious, lowered his head and whispered softly, how is the research and development of the fruit? Of course it's true. Needless to say, the progress of Nico Robin's fruit development has indeed been greatly improved, although it is not as powerful as the original 2 years later. You're thinking about those things again. Hearing Namikaze Kirito's determined tone, Nico Robin buried his head in that warm chest again. Seeing Namikaze Kirito looking at him with fiery eyes, Nico Robin lowered his head and murmured softly, just developed a little bit. A little bit is a little bit. Not much, said Nico Robin indignantly. Really? He raised his head and gave the other party an angry white look. But it is similar, and most importantly, under the reminder of Namikaze Kirito, she knows the direction to develop the fruit. These days, whether it's because of Namikaze Kirito's words or because she wants to improve her strength, she is indeed working hard to develop the ability of flower fruit. Then let me check it out. Not long after, she suddenly felt a little bit of a lie. Nico Robin, who has become a person who has been there, doesn't know what Namikaze Kirito is thinking. Nico Robin certainly knew what Namikaze Kirito said. It's strange to believe you. Nico Robin spat lightly, his pretty face was as red as an apple. How much is a little bit? Namikaze Kirito obviously didn't let her go, and continued to ask. With a smart mind and the ability to have flower fruit since childhood, he has a very good fit. Namikaze Kirito smiled awkwardly. I didn't mean to. Chapter 314 Want to resurrect Belmere. I have to say that Nico Robin's flower fruit has indeed been developed to a rather high level by her. Not to mention being able to grow countless hands, but now he has been able to develop 2 pairs of jade feet, which is simply double the happiness. When the ability can be developed to the level 2 years later, it is estimated that the ability of the avatar will be used. Namikaze Kirito expressed his expectation. At the same time, in Albia's room. These days, she has been avoiding the eyes of her daughter, and also avoiding Namikaze Kirito. Every time she remembered the absurdity of that night in her mind, she would feel bad. Who would have thought that Namikaze Kirito's resignation in exchange for resignation was not Namikaze Kirito's resignation, but a muddle-headed surrender of himself? It's a headache. What should I do in the future? Albia is thinking about this question. Namikaze Kirito has already said that in the future, he will definitely take the people here to other worlds. At that time, her best choice may be to stay in this world, so that as time goes by, it is estimated that what happened that day will be downplayed. But she was resurrected, and she will soon be separated from her daughter again. No matter how you think about it, it is not the case. Just when Albia was struggling, Nami pushed open the door and walked in. Aunt Albia, what are you thinking here? Don't you go to eat? Looking at Nami's youthful and beautiful appearance, Albia's beautiful eyes showed a hint of envy. If she was young and met someone like Namikaze Kirito, she would probably be addicted to it, right? Albia knew what she was thinking about the way Nick Robin usually worried about gains and losses. After all, in terms of strength, Namikaze Kirito has already stood at the pinnacle of this world. His appearance is even more handsome, he has the ability to travel through multiple worlds, and he has nothing to say in terms of knowledge. It is indeed a good love object. However, Albia has never regretted giving birth to Robin, and even thinks that this is the best treasure God has given her. After Nami walked into the room, she saw Albia staring at her blankly without speaking, so she quickly asked, Aunt Albia, are you feeling unwell? Nami's words pulled Albia back from her thoughts. She shook her head and said, I'm fine, maybe I didn't sleep well. I see that everyone on the island is very nervous about the future war, so they were also troubled got nervous. Advertisement. Right, let me say, facing the siege of the whole world, how can you not be afraid? Nami looked empathetic, and she was timid. When sailing with the Straw Hats, occasionally for the sake of companions, or for the principles of my own heart, I can temporarily abandon my emotions. Now this island is facing a terrifying battle, it would be strange to say that it is not afraid. Then Nami, why don't you leave? Albia asked puzzled. You know, Namikaze Kirito has asked about the whole island before, especially the few, outsiders, of them. If you want to leave, Namikaze Kirito can transfer everyone out of this island at any time. Don't worry about being implicated, after all, Nami, Albia, and Stella Nico Robin are not Namikaze Kirito's subordinates. Now that Cake Island has been completely blocked, outsiders can only obtain a very small amount of information. Hearing Albia's inquiry, Nami's face was tangled. It doesn't matter if you don't want to say it, everyone has their own secrets. Seeing Nami's embarrassment, Albia didn't continue to ask, but stretched out her jade hand to caress Nami's fluffy hair. Nami enjoys Albia's care very much, and sees the shadow of Belmere from her body. This made her even more uncomfortable. After hesitating for a moment, he still planned to speak out directly, and let Albia help him make up his mind. Aunt Albia, the truth is that. Nami began to slowly tell her purpose of staying here, as well as her childhood encounters, including Belmere. When she heard about Nami's childhood, Albia's beautiful eyes were full of pity. Iwajiwu, Nami is the companion of his daughter Nico Robin, of course Albia will care about each other. Nami has lived in the darkness of the Arlong pirates since she was a child. A child, for the safety of the whole village, kept going out to deceive and do everything. It was really hard. When I think of Nico Robin again, it's not like he had such childhoods, all because of his own irresponsibility. Thinking of this, Albia didn't want to leave Nico Robin anymore. Now, historical texts and ancient texts are no longer important. Ask for flowers. Advertisement. Even if she wanted to continue her research, it was impossible, and the world would soon fall into chaos. So Yu Sheng came to compensate Nico Robin well, this is what she should do as a mother. It was the first time for Albia to hear about the Belmere that Nami said, and she admired that hardy woman in her heart. For the two adopted daughters, he was able to directly sacrifice his own life. Ohara is a living example with. I think if it's a request, maybe Kirito-san will agree to it. Do you want Mr. Kirito to revive Ms. Belmere? He gave his life for his two daughters, but what about her? Such a person makes Albia, who is also a mother, extremely guilty. It was simply too irresponsible. Thinking of this, Albia's beautiful eyes gradually became moist. When I was young, I galloped on the sea every day to study historical texts and met countless people, so Albia understood that there is no free lunch in the world. That's right. Nami nodded. I want to make up for my childhood regrets and tell Belmere that I have grown up and am no longer that rebellious child. Then he looked up at Albia. Aunt Albia, what do you think I should do? Silly boy. Although Nami didn't say it clearly, Albia already understood what the other party meant, so she asked. When Nico Robin was young, she went to sea all year round just to find the so-called truth, but she never thought about how her daughter was doing. You say, what should I do? Nami couldn't help whispering softly in Albia. If you want to get something, you must pay a certain price. Albia said uncertainly. Nami is because of Belmere's love in Albia, and Albia is because of the guilt towards Nico Robin. It took a long time for Nami to finish talking about her experience. Albia couldn't bear it anymore, and directly hugged Nami in her arms, and the two women shed tears at the same time. Chapter 315 Hokage vs. Pirates. In order to get the lost 100 years of history, the scholars of Ohara went to sea to find it regardless of life and death. Although I learned some news, the price I paid was really tragic. In the holy land of scholars, only the little girl Nico Robin was left. All the others were buried on the island. Facing Namikaze Kirito, Albia didn't know what price to pay to let him revive Belmere. Even when I asked Nico Robin every time, the other party hesitated and didn't say what exactly was used to make Namikaze Kirito take the shot. Albia subconsciously thought that, after all, Nico Robin and Namikaze Kirito had that kind of relationship, and it must be the bedside wind that caused Namikaze Kirito to make a move. Nami became more entangled when she heard Albia's muttering. She has always been by Nico Robin's side, and of course she knows what kind of, February 17th, price the other party paid to bring Albia back to life. But can this be said? Certainly not. Tell Albia directly that your daughter sacrificed herself to Namikaze Kirito in order to revive you. If you say this, Albia will have to die again. Aunt Albia, if it's for your most important person, can you give everything? Nami asked tentatively. As everyone knows, this question directly reminded Albia that night, didn't she also keep silent because of Nico Robin? Yes, it should be. Albia said evasively. However, Nami is thinking now, so she didn't realize that Albia was wrong at all, but because of Albia's words, she made up a certain idea. Nami, Mr. Kirito, have you shown what you like on weekdays? He seems to have no interest in ancient weapons and historical texts, or even anything in the world. The only one who is interested seems to be a beautiful woman like Robin. Hearing this, Albia fell into deep thought. She heard what happened to Nami. She was very sympathetic, and also wanted to help the girl, so she asked Namikaze Kirito if he was interested in anything. Unexpectedly, she was actually a beautiful woman. Think about it too, isn't my daughter just with Namikaze Kirito? It makes sense to like beautiful women, albeit has never thought about it at this time. Nico Robin sacrificed himself to save her. Advertisement. After all, judging from Nico Robin's mood of worrying about gains and losses on weekdays, he is clearly a woman immersed in love. The appearance of rushing in both directions, how can I never imagine that this is a transaction? If it really doesn't work, why don't you let me go in person? Anyway, it's happened once. Wrong. Albia was ashamed of the flash of thought that came to her mind. How can you think so? The last time was just a misunderstanding. If it happens again, it will become a fact. At that time, how can I face Robin? Absolutely not. But looking at the poor Nami in front of him, Albia felt a bit of a sideways heart. If it can be said directly, after all, Namikaze Kirito does not seem to be an unreasonable person. Nami, don't worry, I will ask Mr. Kirito for you when I have time. Hearing Albia's words, Nami nodded uncompromisingly, but no one could know what she was thinking at this time. In the palace. At this time, Namikaze Kirito was listening to Doflamingo's report with a smile. Nico Robin is standing on the side, standing a bit awkward because of the wetness on his feet. Unexpectedly, he just developed flower fruit and used it here at Namikaze Kirito. Who would have thought that Namikaze Kirito would have such a hobby, using his feet? It's too much to think about. But now Namikaze Kirito and Doflamingo are discussing serious matters, and she can't find a reason to leave, so she can only endure the awkward feeling and stand aside. Namikaze Kirito smiled even more after hearing what Doflamingo said. That guy with the red hair, did you actually leak the list of participants? Fufurfur, is such a naive B************************************** D, I really don't know how he got into the position of 4 emperors. Doflamingo also said with a smile. Just now, a pirate came to Cake Island. Because the island is completely blocked, the guarding pirates can only notify the cadres. It happened that Doflamingo was passing by, and he planned to see what the other party was coming for. Advertisement. In the end, if you don't ask, you don't know. After asking, I realized that the person sent by the red-haired Shanks also took out a list of participants who will attack Cake Island soon. Look at the names on the list: World Government, Kaido of the Beasts, Whitebeard Pirates, Red Hair Pirates, etc. It is true that forces big and small all over the world are involved. Even Doflamingo, who is used to strong winds and waves, couldn't help being shocked by this list, and then went directly to the palace to report to Namikaze Kirito. Hearing Doflamingo's comment on looking down on red hair, Namikaze Kirito shook his head. Just after she left from Nami, she came outside the palace, but she didn't know if Nico Robin was inside, so she didn't dare to act rashly. Doflamingo's eyes under the black mirror widened when he heard the word, surprise. Only Namikaze Kirito was left thinking alone on the throne. Then there is nothing wrong with his subordinates who moved directly to another world, right? After Doflamingo said a few words again, he went down to carry out the order, and Nico Robin was anxious to find a reason and ran out directly. Namikaze Kirito put his hand under his chin, as if he was thinking about something. The surprise that Namikaze Kirito considers is to use the remaining power of the world to summon the subordinates of the Hokage world. After a while, an uninvited guest sneaked in. All the big and small forces in this world are united. Boss, it's estimated that they will attack in 3 days. Should we be ready? Pushing open the door of the palace, he looked around like a thief, and walked in with confidence when he found that there was no one else. If it is summoned, the picture must be very interesting. 5.0, Hokage vs. Pirates. Well, you got everyone ready for this last big battle, but before that, I'm considering whether to give them a surprise. Soon, after trotting out with Nico Robin, Albia also heaved a sigh of relief. With white hair, delicate skin and a face very similar to Nico Robin, who else could it be if not Albia? It might be that guy's personal charm. Really, I was really underestimated by him. You know, the world over there is completely ruled by Namikaze Kirito. Every time the leader of the family talks about surprises, it means that something big has happened. It seems that we can look forward to it.